I'm not ready.
We are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Macinda. I'm Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP, which is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. It's good to be back into streaming. It's also good to sit down with three of my favorite folks to just play games with, and let's meet them now, starting with the person whose game we are playing tonight. And that's, you want me to say the other things first? Do you need more time, Richard?
No, go. I was just retweeting what you tweeted. So
gotcha. Well, good. Now everybody on Twitter knows we're playing, all 12 of them. Richard, why don't you tell people a little bit about who you are, what you do, and tell us about Moonlight on Roseville Beach.
Well, the award-winning game Moonlight on Roseville Beach.
What award has it won?
It just got an Any Judges Spotlight Award. And I know that Tony would be slightly disappointed in me if I don't remember that to say that every time. Also, everyone in New York is tired of hearing about it, so I have to share it with the rest of the world. Is a comedy horror game set in a queer beach community in the year 1979, where despite the fact that there are strange cosmic horrors lurking in the woods and offshore, and in the harbor, everybody is determined to have the best summer possible. And people who work there end up having to try to take care of cosmic horrors threatening the town while also trying to have the best summer possible, because there's not many other places to go. And that is kind of Roseville Beach in a nutshell. You are playing people who work on Roseville Beach for the summer. And tonight we have 2 bartenders and a piano player. There are a few other jobs that you could take on Roseville Beach. And we have later this fall another crowdfunding campaign starting for Roseville Beach supplementary content. So we'll be back when that is ready to go live too. So
awesome. Oh, well, I am excited to play tonight. I'm excited to play with the 2 other folks we are playing with, like I already said. Let's go to Sarah first. Sarah, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online?
Hi, Hi, I am Sarah Franco. I am a person that exists who might be your stepdad and is also a cult leader here on Plus One EXP as part of Cult EXE along with Keegan. I'm excited to play this game. I'm excited to get into the vibes. I'm playing Heidi, who is a former minor league softball player who is now a bartender, and that is just a lot, and I'm really excited.
Awesome. Very cool. Keegan, why don't you close us out? Tell us who you are, what you do, and where folks can find you online. But it seems also like you may not want to be found right now.
Yeah, I don't think I want to be found right now. I guess you can find me on Tumblr at KeeganEXE. Hi, I'm Keegan. I'm the other cult leader here at Plus One. So you can find me here mostly. That's about it. I'm playing Concrete. I'm a werewolf and a bartender, even though I just spilled a bunch of water on myself in real life.
Look, I'm not going to lie. Bartenders do that sometimes. Like, that's not a thing bartenders don't do.
We're just being into character.
I went to bartending school in real life, and I can tell you, I did spill constantly.
Well, there you go. So you're a method player, is really what
I'm method. It's just also I'm gonna go smoke an entire pack of cigarettes here in a second.
It's my smoke break. We'll see you in 3 hours. Cool, awesome. I did not introduce my character who does not have a name yet. I should fix that at some point in time, or maybe I'll just let chat decide for me, or at least make suggestions that then I will decide whether or not I like or not. My character is a shifter crow, who's a piano player at the Cedar Point Hotel. My backgrounds besides being a crow, that I was a sports hero and grew up in the big city. I'm good at charming, spying, music, and brawling. And we're all we got a lot of character bleed here across the board for everybody. It feels like. If you've got a name idea for that character, let me know. Otherwise, I'll have one shortly. Richard. Let's talk a little bit about safety. First, we use Lines Veils, the X card, always on stream. Richard gave us a great consent and content board, but is there anything specific that you want to call out? As always, we have a strong line against sexual violence here on the channel, but any other lines or veils people want to add? Any content pieces from this particular adventure you want to call out, Richard?
So we also, we definitely have, like, as Tony said, strong lines against any sort of sexual violence. On this particular game, we're also working through the worksheet. Players have said no to any harm against animals or any harm against children. This particular adventure tonight will involve a little bit of kidnapping and a little bit of attempts at mind control. So those are kind of our content warnings for things that will come up. It is a horror game, but that means that instead of ignoring consent and safety stuff, it is more important than ever to focus on consent and safety stuff. Because even though it's horror comedy, we know that horror comedy is still a subgenre of horror. And it's really important that, to me, that people be able to sort of work through things before we start. And I think those are the kind of hard lines that we want to move against or resist. I think the one other thing that we try to resist is you will, in the process of encountering 1979, encounter, even in a queer norm space, you can encounter some very bigoted straight people, and not everybody who's not bigoted is actually a good person, because sometimes they're manipulative. So there are definitely like a different sort of ways that characters will express that, but we will avoid any slurs. We will avoid any slurs. If players have things that they want to sort of move away from or give feedback on, we can both have the consent sheet, but we also have the X card on the table. Because we're playing online, I like to have people say out X card aloud, and that ensures that if I'm looking at something else, I hear you, and all we'll ever ask is sort of what's being X carded, and then we'll kind of move on from there. All right. I'm back over to you, Tony. I'm used to running the whole show, and I know.
I
how to
know
use it.
you're great. No, the other thing I had specifically asked in advance, just so you knew, but I wanted to ask and make sure we talk about live. Is the game that's queer normative? I'm not queer. Is there anything that people who are straight and cis should consider as they're approaching playing this game?
Yeah, I frequently end up running this game for tables of almost entirely straight people. Our local game store runs a lot of sessions of it. From the time it was in playtesting up through, we're actually in a campaign of it right now. Sometimes we end up with an all queer table, and sometimes we end up with tables that have a lot of people who are straight identified and cis identified. I think the thing is, if you are playing a straight character, remember that you are in a queer community and you know you're in a queer community. There's nothing surprising about it. Roseville Beach has a lot of bars. All of them are gay bars. Every single one of them, every nightclub, every bar, every place you go is very aware that it's in a queer space and a queer community. And the thing is, if you're a straight person deciding to play a gay or a queer character, remember that you're still, basically people. Queer people in the 70s had a lot of the same questions about being queer that we were dealing with in the 90s, around how do we negotiate our relationships and how do we identify ourselves in either collaboration or cooperation or contrast to the straight world. And you can deal with those as you think is appropriate for your character, but that does not necessarily mean that there's going to be sort of a sense in this particular community of like your particular answer is being normal. So there's going to be a lot of grace space for people to sort of like come to their own decisions about sort of like what a queer life means for them. And does that kind of answer the question, Tony? Does that help? Does that sort of help you as a cis het player sort of? And I know that
I wasn't super worried. I just think it's a good thing to talk about also too. But like I said, it's one that I want to make sure we took a minute to pause and dwell on. But that's great advice, I think. And I will say there's a ton of this is written into the book incredibly well also too. So if you have not picked up a copy, you absolutely should go check out this Any Award Judges Spotlight 2023 winning award. There's a link, ttrpg.link/rosevillegame. It'll take you over to Richard's itch page. You can also pick up physical copies at a couple different places as well. Cool. I'm gonna go. My first name's gonna be Flit. I'm not settled on my last name, but Flit is gonna be my first name.
All right.
But I'm handing it back over to you.
All right. So tonight we're doing sort of an abbreviated character creation that I've learned to do sort of like 4 one-shots where we skip a little bit more of the details about like the housemates and how they came together. But all 3 of you, in order to cover that $50 a month rent, have sort of like $50 a week rent, have sort of teamed up to split that cost. In the full game, you get some choices about your bungalow, but because this is just a one shot and you're not going to spend a lot of time in your bungalow, I'm just going to put y'all in the cheap version. The cheap version is a little bit more fun. If you ever need to run back to the bungalow for equipment, you have a much higher chance of finding something just because A, you have more spending money, and B, lots of people have lived in this bungalow before you finally moved in earlier this summer. And you have a really good chance of finding any sort of mundane but even slightly unusual equipment you might need. A tarp, a tent, a sleeping bag, rope, all those things might be in the crawl spaces in the walls of your bungalow. You don't get a lot of privacy, and you have to walk down to the middle of town and use the payphone at the grocery store because no one installed a jack into that bungalow ever. But you do have a TV, and you can rent a VCR from the grocery store. So
awesome. I also do need to go ahead and call it out. Keegan has added a portrait of their character to the character keeper, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows exactly what Keegan's character looks like, because I wouldn't want anyone to not be aware of exactly what Keegan's character looks like.
I assume it's on. I assume it's on screen.
It is now on screen.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And so which I'm very excited that, because that's not what I would have had mentally in head for Concrete. So I'm really glad to have that clarified also too.
Nice. So since we're talking about Concrete, Keegan, do you want to introduce us to Concrete?
No.
Okay.
What do we want to know?
Are you just the bartender who's constantly like, you're the vibe, your whole vibe is sort of like, yeah, no, I'm serving you what I'm serving you.
Yeah, I'm not playing a character. I'm just playing myself here.
Could I get a strawberry daiquiri? No. It's pina colada right here.
The machine's empty. You're getting this.
Yeah. So Sarah, what's going on with Heidi, who is Concrete's co-bartender at Rosie's? Would you tell us a little about Heidi?
Yeah. So Heidi is going to be on the taller side. She'll have long hair that she keeps in like a braid. Like it's the one hairstyle she knows how to do. It's utilitarian and it serves her purposes. Keeps her hair out of her face. All of that. She's friendly, but seems like a little bit wary. Like oversharing makes her uncomfortable, which as a bartender is difficult because she's trying to balance out Concrete's like fuck you energy, but at the same time when like people start to get oversharey, she quickly is like, and now Concrete's gonna help over here, sort of a thing, and kind of uses Concrete's personality as a shield for her own engagement, but she's not unpleasant. Just not very forthcoming with details about her life. And she's left-handed.
Nice. All right. And Tony, we'll figure out sort of where you are tonight and sort of what got you to hang out with your housemates at Rosie's later tonight. But tell us a little bit about Flip.
Yeah, so Flit is a somebody who was a medium-sized fish in a big pond and has now come to Roseville Beach and is incredibly uncomfortable trying to actually introduce themselves to people for the first time. Like they are somebody who was so used to people knowing who they are that they oftentimes come across, I think, as painfully shy unless they are behind a piano where they kind of come alive. Dark hair, dark features, like perpetual kind of like hair sticking up in the back a little bit in a pretty adorable way though. I was a track star for Big City College before I came out here.
Nice. Okay. Well, and what do you do now that you're out here?
I am the piano player at the Cedar Point Hotel.
Great.
So I think tonight's probably my night off. And I think the question is at Rosie's, live music or not live music?
Is this so? I'll toss that back to Concrete. Is this a DJ night or is it a drag queen live performance night?
Oh, it's definitely a drag queen live performance night.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So this is a drag queen live performance night. My question for Flit is how many songs before you got out here and started working at Cedar Point Hotel, how much of the chorus line songbook did you already know, and how much did you have to learn in a week before you opened the piano, the sing-alongs?
I knew of it, but yeah, and they were like, "Do you know that?" They asked if I knew, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I know of it," and then that's all I said, and I just refused to answer any more questions after that point.
How many days did you kind of coast along on Sound of Music sing-alongs before you were able to get a chorus line down?
Probably. Let's see. We're here for the summer. Probably 3 weeks before somebody was like, we get it. Like we know that you but you have to learn it. And so, yeah.
All right. So a drag queen named Portia is introducing some baby drag queens tonight. Concrete, got a question for you. The dude who seemed allergic to wearing a shirt, like from the time he showed up at Rosie's tonight, and Rosie's is sort of an open air bar. There's not a lot of, there's no real walls. There's sort of an awning that covers everything and keeps the rain off. There was one dude who seemed allergic to wearing a shirt. What was your big clue when he was in here earlier that though he was flirting with every guy who made eye contact with him, you kind of caught on really quick. He's not genuinely interested in any of them. What was the clue? Flirting aggressively, but you sort of picked up quickly, not actually interested in them.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the trick here is this is not his first time here, and he always acts the exact same way.
Oh, gotcha.
Which is to say that if this was serious, something would have happened by now.
Right. So this is not the first time in the past few days that he's hit up Rosie's to sort of look around.
Yeah.
For people. All right. And I think I think my other question for you is it's been a moderately busy night. Portia's pretty popular. And the other bars don't really have a like tomorrow night is the big night for like the dueling like secret shows that they announce on Saturday. Rumor is Grace Jones is going to be here tomorrow night at one of the other bars. Rosie's, it's just a bar, so it doesn't really have much of a stage. Definitely does not have a Grace Jones level stage.
Yeah.
But so on Friday night, Rosie's has gotten pretty busy. Portia's moderately popular. You do at least have like a DJ who can play backing tracks while Portia sings along, introduces other baby drag queens. Your friend Smokes, did you get a chance to warn him before he walked off with the guy with no shirt? Or did you suddenly look up and discover that both the guy and Smokes were gone?
I will phrase it this way. I think I had an opportunity to warn him, and I did not. Sometimes there's lessons in your life you have to sort of learn on your own.
Yeah. All right. And Heidi, this is the first night that dude who cannot seem to put on a shirt. He always has one tucked into his back pocket.
Right, just in case, but the case never arrives.
I mean, it's a beach town. Lots of people don't really wear shirts that often, but this dude has never had one on that you see him. And he's constantly wearing a fedora.
Got it.
So
he's a vibe. There's a lot going on there.
There's a lot of signals going on there. He came in tonight with his friend who looks a lot like Bo Derek, like weirdly like a slightly older version of Bo Derek.
Okay.
And does Sarah get that reference, or do we?
I don't know if I do.
Yeah. A big 70s like sex symbol star. Had a lot of hit movies right around the end of the 70s.
Got it. Yep. We're square. I'm tracking.
Yeah. And how long did she keep flirting with you before she was like, okay, I'm going to give up and flirt with somebody else?
I think think it was longer than Heidi had hoped. Given like Heidi didn't realize that like her just very like accommodating, like I'm being good at my job, I'm taking care of this person, like being friendly. It took Heidi longer to realize that she was actually flirting, to be like, oh wait, no, and like try to get concrete more involved on this side of the bar.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So probably like, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, where it was just like a direct, sustained, like, oh wait, no, this person is trying to get close to me. No, thank you, I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing about being behind a bar is you actually are behind the bar too, you know.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
how long ago? It's about midnight now. So at Flit, you may have actually had a chance to like go do like the 3-hour sing along that ends at 11, because you know you're at the hotel, and you know people at the hotel either leave the hotel and go out, or go back up to their room and go to bed. By then, how long ago, or how long before or after Flit got here, right around 11, did you notice her not being there anymore?
Is it a question to me or to?
That's a question to Heidi.
Okay.
Oh, that's a great question. So
I got here at
think-
about 11. Yeah. How long
Yeah.
had she been gone for? Or did you know? How long did it take for you to notice that she was gone?
it probably took me, because I would be pretty keen on like not interacting. So it wouldn't have taken too terribly long. I'd say probably like 30-ish minutes, I guess. Like around in there, just because like as people are like almost that, like if I don't recognize or like don't look that way, she'll like take a bigger hint or think that I'm busy. But short enough that I would have remembered to like check and like make, okay, yeah, no, she's gone.
Nice. Okay. Flit, before you ducked in here, sort of like, you know, running home to get a quick bite, you know, talking to people at the hotel. And he wasn't checking into the hotel because he seemed to be going somewhere else. And he didn't spot you there, Flit. You have an occultist, a shifter obsessed occultist who you've been sort of like keeping your eye out for, hiding from. Where did you see him? And what was sort of unusual? Like he was heading off like way past the hotel, like ultimately, but where did you spot him? And what was unusual about this time? Like he, you know, he didn't see you. What was unusual about this time? What was weird? Sort of gave you a vibe that something creepy was up with sorry, jumping back to get the
Chip Clifton. So yeah, when I was like, I've been trying to duck out a little bit earlier from this. Like I've been doing like the last bit of the set has been a little bit shorter, just because Chip has dropped by the hotel bar a few times recently, like just for a drink, even though it's way more overpriced than anywhere else you could drink in the area.
Yeah.
So I've been like ending earlier and earlier because he's been trying to catch me as I come off shift, and so ending early and came out and was like really trying to dart him. So like I actually saw him coming. He kept on going down past like all the way down to the end of the main strip, but he had an umbrella with him, and like gorgeous day, not a cloud in the sky, but had this like very like odd like had a couple transparent like flaps in it, umbrella that he would like pause and open every once in a while, look up through the like translucent like password, and then like close it and keep on going.
Nice. All right. So it's around midnight. Heidi, tell me a little about your relationship with Bailey. Like Bailey got you set up. First, what are Bailey's pronouns?
She, they.
Okay. And what's your relationship like with Bailey? Is Bailey someone who normally comes to talk to you while you're working, or is Bailey like normally keep their distance, or more of like a obnoxious, like I see myself as your big sister sort of situation? What's going on with Bailey, between you and Bailey?
I think it's a little bit like I think we were friends, like who hadn't seen each other in a long time. And I think Bailey is definitely a bigger personality, is a little more protective of Heidi, sort of a thing, and is the one who kind of got me set up out here, and is really trying to like encourage me to get out of my shell and like has my best interests at heart. So I think she comes by regularly. And like, I think it's probably annoying, but there's a part of me that's grateful for it, again, just because it like helps. I don't want the attention, but at the same time, I do need like support and to like be cared for. So it's that kind of like back and forth relationship where I probably roll my eyes at her a lot, but in the end of the day, begrudgingly glad she's there.
You definitely see Bailey come in, kind of keeping an eye out for you. The crowd, now Rosie's is also sort of right on the bay. So it's a place that you can see the ferry come in. And so a lot of people who are day trippers who stay late are starting to like hang out at Rosie's to kind of watch for the last ferry that leaves a little after midnight. So there's definitely, as the ferry comes in, your crowd starts thinning out a little bit. Concrete, how obnoxious or lovable has this crowd been tonight? Which, on the scale of lovable to obnoxious, like?
Yeah, I think if you ask Concrete this question, the answer is always going to be obnoxious.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think if you ask Keegan, I think it's actually a pretty good crowd tonight.
Nice. Okay. What is sort of like the person you're really glad to see get on the ferry? How have they made Concrete's night especially frustrating? The one person you see, get out, like walk towards the boardwalk, like they're heading to the ferry. How did they hurt you?
I think it was less annoying me personally, but annoying somebody else at the bar that then came to me with their problems. And that's even worse. Which is to say, I think one of the people getting on this boat was annoying one of the drag queens and just like repeatedly like requesting songs with keeping like, babe, we don't. This isn't how this works. Is this your first show? And I think
do not do Freebird. No.
Yeah. God, imagine that.
We don't have the sheet music for Freebird right now. Sorry.
I know it.
I could lip sync Freebird, I guess, but
yeah, I'm not sure you understand what a drag show is. Huh?
Right.
Right. Okay. So Heidi, Flip, where are you sort of situated at the bar? Are you sort of like looking for just like hanging out near your housemates? Are you talking to people? I know you're a little shy.
Yeah, I'm definitely perched at like the edge that is furthest from the stage, which will put me near either Heidi or Concrete, but probably not both of them.
Okay, nice. All right.
So yeah, I am definitely in like, hey, I can quickly make it to a door out of empty wall. If I
right into the harbor position. And swim.
Yeah.
What's Flit's drink of choice?
I think Flit is somebody who like didn't know that you just didn't come up and order beer at a bar. Flit is was an athlete and only recently started drinking heavily, like did take their training very seriously, definitely just thought you ordered beer whenever you came up and didn't realize that you had to specify what types of beer there were. So right now it is either beer or I think whatever Heidi is giving me to slightly broaden my palate.
Right.
Oh, nice.
I love that.
I mean, it's America in the 70s. There's at least 8 or 9 different kinds of beer that all taste alike.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I assume, how long did it take you, Flit, to learn that, like, when people offer to buy you drinks as the piano player, you don't take those drinks? Like, you tell the bartender, like, oh, I'll have the special code word thing that's really just give me water.
That was I think that was in a week and a half in, Heidi taught me that part.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Because I kept
That
on
was a long week.
I sent them to Concrete for the first week and a half, and Concrete did not teach me that part.
No, you learn lessons by fucking up. Want that vodka soda, babe? I'll get you a vodka soda.
So, Heidi, as Bailey waves at you, and you've got a little bit lower crowd going on tonight, and your boss Judy, who is a little bit. How old is Heidi?
She's 25.
Okay, officially a little bit older than you, like 27. But she's the kind of 27 that's like her next birthday is her 72nd birthday.
Yeah.
She's
real
skipped,
serious.
she's skipped 30s. She's skipped midlife crisis. She's straight on to like agitated exasperation with the entire universe.
Mm-hmm.
But Bailey is sort of, except for you, Heidi, because Judy will talk to you about the fact that it's July and she's already broken up with her summer girlfriend 4 times and gotten back together. And that's since mid-June.
Gotcha.
Yeah, when they met in mid-June, or when they got back together back here on the island in mid-June.
Mm-hmm.
So Bailey's kind of waving you over, and she actually has a small like piece of notepaper.
Yeah, I think Heidi will kind of like look at Flit and just go, oh, I'll be right back. And on her way over, we'll grab the ingredients for Bailey's favorite drink and start kind of like stand on the bar and kind of like make sure there's a spot she can come up.
Oh, yeah. The crowd is thinning out, and sort of Bailey can kind of get up.
Awesome.
And I think I forgot to ask you this before, Heidi. What was the scandal that sort of took you out of like your history in sports and like your history in like touring company theater? Like you had a kind of you had done softball, and then you got picked up by a community theater company, and you got a little infamous in ways you were not hoping for. What was that scandal?
So I think it was I was playing softball and I began dating someone who was with a theater company, and that's kind of when I made the switch. But I would say like my name was more heavily associated with the sporting side of things.
Yeah.
But then my now ex-girlfriend ended up needing to go on the lam for some federal crimes. And
oh gosh,
I've been trying to kind of separate myself from that kind of loud noise, but the struggle is it was very public, right? We were in this up and coming touring company, and perhaps there was some associations back to my sports team, like, and perhaps the case busted because some of my teammates were busted with drugs, and so it's like this weird crossover of how is Heidi involved, sort of a thing. So
nice. Okay. Um, and is that where like that asshole Aaron Dirks? Am I saying his last name right?
Yes.
Yeah. That asshole Aaron Dirks, agent, FBI
Yeah.
or DEA or another federal agency? Or...
FBI Agent Dirks, or as Heidi likes to refer to him, Agent Dix, is the one that keeps hounding her, insisting that certainly her ex has tried to make contact. Certainly she knows more than she's letting on. And it's been a pain in my ass.
Yeah. And I assume that Agent Dirks has not yet found out you're staying out on Roseville Beach or on Rose Island at all this summer that you know of.
That I know of. He's not made, like, I think at first I was afraid that like the shirtless guy was like a bit, you know what I mean? Like an undercover situation, and probably spent a lot of time like clocking that person until I was like, yeah, no, that's not him. But no, I don't think I've seen him.
But I mean, as big an asshole as Agent Dirks is, he probably does not have 7 different really cool concepts for tattoos that don't really match each other. And that was definitely the shirtless vibe. That like you saw all 7 of those different, like all of those on their own would be really cool. But all together on one sleeve, it's a little like
it's allowed. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of ideas.
The Mandarin word for soup.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The pyramids, because those are really big in the 70s.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're still really big. They didn't shrink.
God damn it.
I don't know. Has anyone really studied that? Bailey kind of leans in, kind of gives you the over the bar mini hug.
Mm-hmm.
And slips this little like folded up bit of paper to you. She's like, really attractive woman handed that to me and specifically mentioned I should give it to the bartender in there. Also, did you see Smokes when he left?
Heidi will cringe at the note and go, great. I was worried about that. No, I think I saw him. I'm not sure. Why do you ask? Sorry, it's been kind of crazy in here.
Oh no. He was really, really sloppy walking down Harbor Walk down towards the Bracknell Lodge.
Oh, I didn't think that we'd served him that much.
He'd never seemed sloppy while he was in here. I mean, sloppy in the way that like a young gay con artist is going to be.
Right. But like that
but not overserved sloppy at any point.
Oh. Where was he headed, did you say?
Oh, he was on some big guy with no shirt on, was like kind of helping him get back, I guess, back towards the Bracknell.
Oh, that's kind of weird. Hey, Concrete?
Yeah.
Bailey's here saying that you know that guy with no shirt.
Yeah, Fedora.
Right, just a really strong combination. Bold choices being made. Did you see if he left with Smokes?
No. Wait, no, I did see this, didn't I?
You noticed at the same time they were gone. You didn't necessarily see them slip out.
Okay, they had been spending time with each other. Then I don't think I didn't see them leave together.
I've only seen the shirtless guy around a couple of times, so I don't really know like his vibe or anything like that.
He's sort of been hanging out for the past few days.
Yeah, he's like, he seems harmless.
Okay. Well, I mean, thanks for the heads up. I want to look at the piece of paper. Is it a phone number?
It is not a phone number.
Okay. Yeah, I will sigh a little bit of relief saying like no phone number.
It's a note that just says like, hey, like, I know, I sorry, I was trying to talk to you at work. But I just recognized you from the news stories, and I thought you got a raw deal being sort of covered and included in that. And I just thought that, like, you'd be a fun person or a good person to get to like hang out with. I'm staying at the Bracknell Lodge. Look me up sometime, Lacey.
Heidi will kind of sigh and like crumple the note and stuff it into like the front pocket of her little bartender apron. And just kind of like, great, cool. Any plans from here, Bailey? Are you wrapping up for the night?
Oh, no. You doing anything? I was just gonna head back to my place, have a beer, watch a movie.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. I just want to make sure I close up here, so I'll probably be really tired when that's done and probably just go home myself.
Okay. That's cool. And she sort of wanders off. Flip, what are you up to over there?
I think I'm watching this with a lot of interest. And just kind of taking in, like, I think I'm watching kind of like out the door, and staring off into the distance between like people watching and then like over to the water, and just kind of, and the water, really, by which I mean the moonlight just reflecting off waves in the distance, because that's most of what I can see. But just kind of going back and forth between that fairly absent-mindedly at this point in time. Whereas to the outside observer, it would look like I was paying really close attention and watching my sixes. Anybody who knows me know that I am totally lost in my own head and not paying attention in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, nice. All right. So it's a pretty chill rest of the evening. You get to around, unless there's something else that the three of you want to do on this kind of hangout night, you get to around 2:00. And Judy takes over cleaning up, because I think are either of you opening tomorrow, or are you coming in tomorrow afternoon? It's a Saturday, so it's a little bit like, you start slinging drinks at 1, but there's not usually a lot of people until like 4 or 5. Or either you opening?
I don't think I am the sort of person who ever opens.
Heidi would.
Okay, so Heidi, you've got to be back at 1. So Judy is definitely cleaning up. And there's very few people who've been in here tonight who Judy is not exasperated about, except for the two of you, who she adores, because she only works with people she likes. So she's cleaning, and y'all can head back home. But something you didn't quite notice when you were on the Rosie's on the dock, where like ships, like boats are coming and going, ferries coming in, small boats that courier people or take people back and across to different towns on the island, because walking on sand to get places is kind of a pain in the ass. Rose Island is a big, long barrier island, so it's way longer than it is wide, or it's a very narrow, very long island, and y'all get out of the bar, and Concrete's wolfy ears start picking up sort of a low electric hum. Wait. Did you actually have wolfy ears there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. For
Totally
anyone
planned.
not aware, Concrete is a wolf shifter. Your wolfy ears start picking up sort of a low kind of odd machiney electric hum, like a motor might produce. And it's very low and it's kind of far away. It's a little like a quiet night when you can hear sort of a, somebody's air conditioner running like 4 blocks away, but it's a barrier island. It's sandy. By the time you get to 1 o'clock in the morning, it's pretty cool down. Most people don't run their air conditioners. Toward the center of town, you hear yet another single that Donna Summer got off of Bad Girls, which is easily the album of the summer. But it's coming from somewhere to like the east side of town. That sort of low vibro electric hum somewhere. And y'all headed home, crashing, heading out. One more thing, or
This is an odd sound, so I'm just going to suggest we take the scenic route home and head that direction instead.
so there's a lot of houses, and occasionally you'll pass people moving that way. Off to the far eastern side of town, there's not a lot of businesses except for the terrible occult bookstore, the really awful occult bookstore, and the Bracknell Lodge, which is sort of the lodge where people go to be in Roseville Beach, but not be seen in Roseville Beach because it's got like a nice wall around it. And it's really exclusive. It has like a really nice place to eat. Unlike the hotel where you work, Flit, there's not an open restaurant, an open bar. If you're not staying at the Bracknell, you don't go in to the property. So it's definitely kind of a place where like you can have a vacation at the beach, but like no one can really, there's no worries that like some random person's going to recognize you. It's also pretty pricey. Could easily be like 60, maybe $70 a night just to stay in one of the crappy rooms. Okay. But they're supposed to have like a nice pool and a nice garden and really relaxing ambiance. It's a really pretty building, but not a lot of people or talk to Flit go there. And there's not much down this way. It's this side of town, except for those two addresses. But since it's the only big thing on this side of town, people sort of use it to point to like, oh, the east side of town, you're walking towards the Bracknell.
Can I make out like where the sound is coming from?
You go a good bit. This is also a fairly residential side of town, so it's pretty dark on the boardwalks here. Everything in Roseville Beach is a boardwalk. There's no sidewalks, there's no streets, there's just boardwalks. And it is definitely coming from that far side of town where either the occult bookstore and the Bracknell are pretty much, by the time you walk kind of that far side, there's not much left of town except for like a few homes, the Bracknell and the boardwalk.
When you say terrible, do you mean poor selection, really cheesy, live goat sacrifices out front? Like what type of terrible are we exploring here?
It is definitely the kind of thing that like you don't have to know a lot about the occult to know that scented candles and the 27 names of the demons of hell are not like the secrets to like not the secret sources of power that the Illuminati use to control the world.
Gotcha.
It's also the kind of place that's never like understand the Illuminati and how they influence their life. It's more like understand the Illuminati and how you can join.
Okay. So it's the tourist trap type of terrible.
It's the tourist trap kind of occult bookstore, except it doesn't even do a good job of trapping a lot of tourists.
It's not like come and commune with the waves on the Southern Peninsula. It's like here's a beach scented candle and a book about the Illuminati.
Right.
Gotcha.
And a vanilla scented, like a lemon vanilla candle and a peach candle.
Right. Depending on
You
what kind of Illuminati
occasionally
you
see
want.
books that may actually be good there, but they only put them on the discount rack. It's only on the discount rack that you have good books there. You also like the owners are a little bit creepy. They have like a weird sort of like meditation group that seems to only be people from other towns on the island who are wealthy enough. Like there's like a $50 a head charge to get into their terrible meditation group. Yeah, that's the world's worst occult bookstore sort of setup that they've got going on there. And lights out at the occult bookshop. Lights mostly out at the Bracknell, which is weird. They should be fairly full this time of the year. But they are mostly out. You see some lights kind of coming from like that sense that like there is a wall in front of the windows and there's like lights coming down from below the windows and and I'm not watching the stream chat.
You
I have
shouldn't
no
be,
idea
because we have uttered horrible things.
I posted it in the Discord just for you, Richard. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Look, there's a reason I didn't type it in at the time. But given where we were at in the conversation, it seemed appropriate to mention what my personal shorthand names for the guy with no shirt were going to be that I moved off
cum gutters is what I'm calling them now. I'm
I
so
will
sorry.
just say that I've run this little adventure for so many people, and running it for Tony is the most exciting experience where you've just named the NPC that I've been struggling to name for
Amazing, but also horrifying.
Horrifying, but in an amazing sort of way.
Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you, Tony.
I mean, it was definitely the vibe that was happening. If you had told me earlier tonight I was going to type either of those two words in the chat, let alone together, I think
Something you would probably think something had gone horribly awry.
So there's definitely some sort of vague sense of light coming from the Bracknell Lodge. It's sort of like below the level of the wall, except for one light on the top floor, sort of behind a curtain. Like there's somebody with their curtains drawn who's got a light on in one room up there. And it's 2:00. You know, usually the Bracknell is still sort of hopping when you pass by. In the way that rich people hop when they don't want to be seen by anybody else in town.
Mhm.
And that's sort of kind of where you are and what you see. And that is sort of where following that low machiney hum has led you.
cool. I'm going to turn into a bird.
Do I know that you can do this?
So
This is how you find out.
I'm totally on board. That's the only reason that I ask.
my suggestion is normally that you know, but
Okay.
my question is, Heidi, have you gotten used to it?
That's kind of what I'm trying to determine, right? Is like,
Like,
because this is like a thing that I when we moved in together, Flit just looked at me and said, "I need you to know something."
No, I'm even happy to go back to the first time this happened, because here are the things that cause me to change. If I get I can do it voluntarily. If I get touched by gold, or if I feel embarrassed, which we already established, I feel very fish out of water, and I do not know how to operate in this town at all because it's such a totally different pace from what I am used to. So if you want to tell me what you did that embarrassed me the first time you saw me change. I'm 100% down with that.
I think it's a combination of things. I think when we like first met, I reached out to shake your hand and I had my grandmother's wedding band on. And so when you took my hand and made contact with the gold, you immediately turned into a crow, which was very embarrassing for you. And so you just kind of got stuck as a crow for a long period of time, in which case I had like a small conniption, and like our relationship and our friendship has grown. Part of the reason I like keep an eye on you at the bar is to like help keep that social anxiety low, like make it so you don't feel like silly or awkward, you know what I mean? Just to kind of like keep the vibe. And to answer your question, Richard, I think it still scares me every time. I think every time there's like a rush of like feathers and everything, Heidi does a little yelp and like gets freaked out.
Show off.
How long before or after that did you realize your other roommate was a wolf?
I'm going to leave that up to Keegan.
So I think while Flit showed you that they could turn into a bird, I was like, you're still coming down for them like, oh, by the way, I do that, but I'm a wolf.
Right. Have you actually done it? Or do
No.
you just say, yes?
There are a number of chains in my room, and I'll never tell you that's why.
Yeah, no, I think Heidi's like, okay, yeah, I moved to this place and both of my roommates are shapeshifters. Okay, concrete, whatever you say, buddy. Like, it's very much like, doesn't believe him.
Yeah.
So in the cheap bungalow, is Concrete the one who has the door, but the hinges don't work, so you actually have to like take it on and off each time you want privacy in your room? Or do you have like a different sort of privacy setup for this kind of crummy old bungalow you live in?
I want it to be beaded curtain so bad.
Yeah, beaded curtain's great.
Oh, great. Okay. All right.
They hide everything.
You can't see or hear anything through these babies.
What's the design on the beaded curtains? That's the real question.
Yeah.
You know, they probably had a design once upon a time, but I think I didn't buy these beaded curtains. These were here when I moved in.
Yes.
Probably here when the person who moved in before me moved in.
I also
And
gotta go ahead.
it's just been so long. Who could tell anymore?
I also got to check in. Richard, are we playing this game right? Is this how this game?
I don't think the three of you can play a game wrong.
I thought you were going to say you don't think the three of us could play a game right. And I was like, you know what? That's fair.
Either is fine. I did also have looked up now, just out of curiosity.
Fedora cum gutters.
Fedora, it's great. Everybody, I actually went and registered.
No.
.biz. And so, no, I have looked up the effect of electromagnetic fields on birds of flight also too, because I'm that kind of nerd. Whenever I'm like, there's an electric coming and we don't know what it is, and I'm about to turn into a bird, and I do know birds can detect electromagnetic fields for navigational purposes, right? Not as it's not like a superpower.
Yeah.
So
it's not like a superpower, like, you know, turning into a bird.
correct. That'd be silly.
That'd be silly.
So,
but it does affect their sense of direction. I don't know if that's going to matter or not, but FYI.
You shift into a bird. They're Flit. Where are you sort of headed? Are you?
Oh, that light on the upper floor. Like that's nice. I'm beeline straight for it. Bird line.
Now the curtains are drawn, but you can easily sort of just land on that. In fact, with that sort of like bird innate sense of like how electromagnetic currents work, you find yourself weirdly drawn to this. It's one of those sounds that never gets loud. It's just sort of oddly penetrating. It never feels like deafening or really like it increases in volume dramatically. It just sort of, it's just low enough that it sort of like gets into your bones. Like much like the word Fedora cum gutters.
Gets into your bones.
It's penetrating, Tony.
Sinks into
Oddly
the essence of your being. And you hop up there, and you I assume you're sort of peeking around that curtain to see if you can sort of see something.
Oh yeah, 100%. Getting my beak in there.
And the window is closed, which is really annoying. Also, it's got to be uncomfortable for whoever's in there because there's no window unit in this room, and too old of a building to have central air. But sort of like Concrete, what does Smokes Collier always wear? Like, what is like the trademark Scooby-Doo character? Like, it's Smokes Collier because he's got a...
Oh God, it should be a different stupid hat, but we've already used fedora.
A
like-
trilby.
There you go. A subtly different.
What is it called? Like a trapper hat, just out of season.
Very good.
Got to get a good visual. Oh, yeah.
Like
That's
flannel.
like a summarized trapper hat. So there's actually no lining.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still too hot for the summer.
Oh, yeah. Way
But
too
we
hot.
suffer for fashion. It's fine. I wear all black and it's 900 degrees.
And like lying on a bed with his trapper hat like set next to him on the pillow, completely knocked out, is Smokes Collier, Concrete's bud, friend, somebody Concrete looks after to prevent them from like getting in trouble, which is they have a talent for doing. Completely dead to the world. Like you can see like a shallow light breathing. Also taped to, specifically they pulled the hat off because taped to his forehead are a bunch of electrodes, and the wires in those electrodes are leading to something that you can't quite make out for around the edge of that curtain. And somebody has just left the room.
I see the door. I see a figure go out of the room, or I see the door close. That one was This one was for Richard and not for chat.
What's going on?
I turn and I start telling y'all what's happening, and all y'all hear is caw, 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 caw from up above.
My general guideline for crows too is like you can talk. There is nothing quiet or subtle about it though. Everybody in a 2-block radius.
I mean, it does say I
quiet
can't do
section.
in the rules as written, Richard. It does say
Yeah.
I can't do anything that the animal can't do.
Crows can
Right,
say
yeah. Crows
words.
can talk. It's just
Mhm.
never quiet or
I
subtle.
guess that's true.
It's just sort of yelling one word at a time.
You just hear me going, Smokes! Smokes! Caw! Smokes!
Aren't we glad we sent him ahead?
And as soon as you start making that
Internally, I'm like, hey
contact,
guys, Smokes is in there. We've got something weird is happening to Smokes. Like it's very subtle.
as soon as you start making that sound, you see somebody move back into the room towards the window, like they're about to check. Can't quite tell who it is, what they're up to. I mean, but they're coming towards the window. Are you staying there?
No, I'm gonna flit up. Like, is this is the top floor?
This is that second floor, top floor. There's a little bitty tower
Yeah, like I'm just gonna pop like up there.
kind of up top of the tower.
Yeah.
You get to the top of that tower, and it's hard. Crows are not any better at humans than seeing in the dark. But in the little bit of
That's
like
gonna
moonlight,
get Googled right now by me.
It-
That's fine.
crows, diurnal birds. You flit up. You also see somebody who looks like the owner of the Bracknell. Also, sort of oddly just passed out wearing their full clothes just on a bed inside that little kind of glass tower area with big windows on it. Lights out in that particular, like the tower bedroom area. But just in the little bit of like ambient light from the town and the moonlight kind of glowing off the bay, you see just a little bit of a form sort of lying in that bed that looks a little bit like Gray, the owner of the Bracknell Lodge. Just sort of no electrodes or anything like that attached to Gray, but just sort of passed out, fully clothed on a bed in the dark. There is also, now that you're up here though, there is some sort of light coming from the back area of the Bracknell. And I want to let you think about that while I check in real quickly with Heidi and Concrete, the two best bartenders at Rosie's. What are y'all doing while you hear smokes? Did I get that right, Flit?
Yeah, it's close enough.
Yeah.
I think the moment Flit starts screaming, I'm like, okay, cover blown, and I tackle Heidi like into a bush just in case.
Yeah. The usually the easiest place to just do is just jump off the boardwalk onto the dune below you, because everybody's sort of walking at boardwalk level, and all the houses are sort of lifted up on stilts on boardwalk level. So jumping off the boardwalk onto the dune is a weirdly effective place to hide at night. During the day, it makes you look really suspicious.
Yeah, I'm willing to tackle Heidi directly off a boardwalk.
Not a long fall, but definitely like a little bit of fall. But I think from where you are, you can't obviously see over like the 7-foot wall around the Bracknell Lodge, but you can see that second floor window. And you see shirtless guy, or the shadow of shirtless guy, and the obnoxious fedora.
Yeah, Fedora come gutter. We know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Look out the window, like around, like trying to figure out like what was making the noise outside.
Yeah, he's gonna think it's just a bird because he didn't see us.
I think you ruptured my spleen. Oh,
You don't need that.
oh. Where did Flick go? What's going on? Why you never want to take the scenic route? Why are we here? And why did you just tackle me?
So I used my wolf ears.
Right, you're totally real wolf ears that you absolutely have.
Right, and I heard weird sound, and I just wanted to check it out. It's no big deal.
Weird.
Why are you being so weird about this?
I'm Concrete. I have to open tomorrow, and I got this weird note, and it's just been let's go get Flit and let's go home, I guess. I don't know. Gosh, but just next time, can we like have a code word or something before you just tackle me?
When you say code
Yeah,
word,
it was
come
smoke.
gutters!
Echoing across the town.
Everybody in Roseville Beach hears cum gutters at 2 a.m.
Heidi just kind of like, yeah, we're just gonna have to convince everyone that like there's a new species of birds that's moved in, and
I mean, crows can talk.
Yeah, but
it makes sense. The ones here with no cum gutters. Have you spent long?
You're right. You're 100% right. I don't know why I even suggested otherwise.
Every time we say it, somebody else logs off. They're like, "Oh, this is all this is now."
We're out of here. So what do you
rename the stream, you coward?
what's the play here? We're gonna just like go up to the house. Like, what do you want to do?
Well, it sounds like
what does your wolf senses tell you to do right now, Concrete?
Yeah, I think we should go into the house.
Oh god. Okay, fine. All right.
I would be so stealthy about it.
Are y'all trying to go over the wall under the wall, or just kind of like ring the big intercom door buzzer at the front?
Under the wall.
You're already on the ground level.
Yeah.
I think Concrete, you've got 75 feet of wolfy dark vision. You see there's like a little like you guys have at your bungalow. Now in your bungalow, you actually have to go outside to go to the basement. Like you have to go outside, get off your patio, go underneath, and then you can get to the basement. Which is but find surprising crap there that was left over from people who rented before. Here you don't see like a pathway that's been used, so they may actually have like a staircase in the basement that goes up to the lodge itself, because you don't see a door to kind of the lower level. And I'm using basement in the loose sense, just meaning something kind of below the boardwalk level. You don't see a door down here out of the basement. You do see like it stretches, the level around the basement sort of stretches out to where you'd see sort of the base of the pool kind of coming down out of their deck.
Do I see any windows? Because when God doesn't open a door, blah, 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 a window.
Like a werewolf breaks a window?
Yeah.
A werewolf breaks a window. Yes, that's exactly how the phrase goes.
Yeah. I'm so sad they changed it in Sound of Music, but yeah, the original. They do have some windows down here. It is pretty dark in there, but there are some windows sort of, you can sort of see like what might be like laundry machines down there. So it's probably just the laundry, maybe a little bit of storage down here, but you can see like those kind of bright white painted laundry machine kind of look. Trying it open, breaking it open. What's your plan?
I'm going to try to talk loud enough for Flit to hear me. Be like, I could really use just like a loud noise right now.
Flit.
By the way, crows have better binocular vision, and they also can see 4 colors, not just 3 colors. But there is a specific color of yellow that they cannot see, and Japan uses that as the color of trash bags to keep crows from getting into them. Also, I found a very interesting 2010 webpage about crows. It's almost all written in the first person. In bad behavior, there are a number of things that include, we have a pair of crows in our backyard that use the bird bath and depository for all the carcasses they find, and my 10-year-old son keeps having crows trying to attack him, along with 5 or 6 other things that are all written first person. So I can't tell if this person made this site because of the crow woes they were having. But
just so you know, this is what all conversations between Tony and I are like.
This is 10 hours of this on the way to Gen Con.
Yeah. It's great. This is great. This is why we're friends.
We're pre-gaming right now. Come gutters!
As Flit yells "come gutters," I'm gonna bust a window.
So let's go ahead and crack out some dice just to kind of see how you're doing this. There aren't a lot of risk right now. And you can actually use a Google roller if you prefer.
I'm going to. I'm gonna be so honest. I'm just going to announce what I rolled.
And this is a die pull system, and how to do it is sort of on the little rolling dice tab at the bottom of your keeper.
Mm-hmm.
Concrete, you always start with 1 because you're an awesome sleuth who's used to investigating weird shit around town.
Sure.
You're not injured and scared at all, so that you're definitely not injured and scared in a way that's going to inhibit you. What is Concrete scared of, though?
Authority figures in deep water.
Oh,
Neither of those are even up on the table. Right?
Really?
So you're good.
Yeah, I also have bugs.
What are your backgrounds there, Concrete?
My backgrounds are wolf, bartender, grew up in the big city.
So I feel like growing up in the big city, did that include breaking and entering? I say as a New Yorker who's never broken or entered any place in my life. So
yeah, of course. No, but I understand why I would take a dice for it.
Your skills are friendly tracking, sneaking, and carousing. Sneaking definitely gives you one more die. I think that brings you to 4 dice already.
Yep.
I don't quite think this is a golden opportunity yet.
No, but I would argue I have help from at least one ally or other NPC.
Well, you definitely have a housemate here who is helping out. I assume they're Heidi. Heidi, what are your quick skills? Because that may be a thing
So
that.
I have first aid, throwing, stagecraft, disguises, and tough.
Not quite there, but I think you've got 5, and you
Yeah.
only need to keep the highest to their concrete. So you're gonna roll 5d6.
Cool.
And you are gonna. I'm gonna correct a typo in this real quick so that you don't see it. There we go. So you roll 5d6. You're gonna keep the highest 2 because you're gonna want to put 1 on goal and 1 die on injured, and you just discard the lowest 3.
Cool. That's a 6 and a 5 in that case.
Nice. You get that door. You can actually get the window to sort of like you put enough pressure on it, the whole window actually just pops out. It's a cheaply installed window because it's the basement and nobody comes down here. So the whole window just sort of pops out. You don't even have breaking glass. You do crack the glass though, because that's how they know a werewolf is down here.
Yeah.
When someone investigates later. But it's not noisy at all. And you do so in such a way that like you don't injure yourself, you don't injure Heidi. There's no glass flying everywhere. You don't cut yourself on anything. But yeah, you can definitely get into sort of that basement area around just sort of right down there.
I have a question, just real quick on rolls, because I do like this system, right? This dice pool system, really quick. You're essentially primarily initially looking at like your goal and whether you get injured doing it or not.
Yep.
And you can pick theoretically how you're allocating them. So you could choose, say, I'm not going to succeed, but we're also going to be safe, or I am going to succeed, but we are going to get injured, or you roll well and neither one happens.
So Concrete had rolled like a 6 and a 2. Clearly like either not succeeding while getting injured or without getting injured, or succeeding and gets injured.
That's cool. And player decides where they allocate those 2 dice to. Love it.
All right. So Concrete, you've gotten away into that basement. It's pretty dark right now, but we'll catch up with you in a second because I want to check with Flit, who's up there on top of the tower. You've seen 2 unconscious people, one of whom you saw some weird EEG style like wires connected to them. Those wires were like weirdly sharply silver too.
Okay.
Like maybe stainless steels, but that silvery sort of metallic.
So shiny, you're saying.
They're shiny metallic color, which is odd for wire. Like normally wire is so thin that you don't really get much of a gleam off of it. But these were kind of sharply catching light, sort of reflecting sort of a very silvery or maybe a stainless steel-ish sort of gleam. You also know, just because you're hearing them, and you see a little bit of light coming from the back sort of patio, garden, pool area. There's a couple of people down there who are chatting with each other, talking about something.
It is the lodge.
They're both being super quiet.
The lodge is a hotel, but I'm gonna guess like it may not have as many rooms. Is that accurate? Like it is the nicer, more high end.
Yeah, you're guessing there's about maybe like 11, 12 rooms here. They charge enough that like, and Gray has owned it long enough that like, everything is just profit, pretty much pure profit at this point.
Okay.
And also normally you'd pass the lodge, and this is not a place that people go to be quiet at night.
Right.
This is a place where people who want a good bit of privacy go to enjoy a hardcore rich person's party all weekend long.
Right. Like if you want to be quiet, I mean, this is the place you go so that you can talk about secret things at a normal volume if you want.
Right. And all of those secret things are things that like everybody else in town would not find remotely scandalous, but you know, the people who are really afraid of media attention stay here because you know there's a wall, and there's only 12 rooms, and there's a private restaurant and bar right here.
So the question is shiny or quiet.
So there's definitely people downstairs talking.
Yeah.
It seems weirdly empty though for this particular evening.
Yeah, I think Flit's the human part of Flit's brain totally takes all that in, and the crow part of his brain is like, there's shiny wires in that room, and I got to get at him. So the tower is the
tower is not where you saw the shiny wires.
No, it's where I went to. It's over, right? A little bit. Is there a way down?
There is a little kind of deck outside the tower, just like a little bit of like private lounging area. You would guess this is sort of like Gray's, the owner's sort of like private sort of patio where they can just sort of chill.
Great.
And Gray seems to be passed out somewhere. Are you gonna like go back to human and try that?
Yeah,
door?
and go. I'm gonna ingress through this deck. I'm gonna try to get inside.
Nice. Okay.
And as soon as I'm not a crow anymore, I'm like, damn it.
Gutters.
I'm like, damn it, I should have gone downstairs. And then I just go inside.
You go inside. Inside Gray's room, for somebody who's sort of like a self-appointed VIP exclusive club owner, is actually pretty small. They don't have much besides a bed and a really ornate vanity, a really ornate writing desk, and then a very large sort of like armoire of you assume clothes, what you would normally have. There is also trying to decide how to describe this. It's sort of like an area that starts going down a spiral staircase, but there's a door like right there you sort of open up like at some point in the spiral staircase to continue going down. And the door is sort of like one of those slanted down doors that you sort of just like open upward.
Kind of as if you were going into a basement from outside, but there is
except now you're just going into a 2-story building that's below.
It's a hatched door, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm going to open up.
People who actually know words will understand what you mean by hatch door.
One of our many viewers who's a big fan of Architectural Digest is going to be adding us on Twitter later. Which is fine because they'll quickly reach their 600 view limit and then we won't have to deal with it anymore. Keegan, Sarah, are y'all sharing a snack and you didn't give any to Richard and I?
I'm sorry. Here you go.
Thanks, Keegan.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, I go down into the hatched door if it opens up.
Nice. Okay. I assume you're trying to be fairly quiet.
Yeah, absolutely.
On this sort of metal spiral staircase.
Yeah, 100%.
So I would like you to kind of be a little sneaky right now.
Cool.
What are your fears there, Flit?
I do not like. There is a blank spot on them, which I didn't know if I was supposed to populate.
Oh yeah, you can. Oh, it's just more like you pick one of those.
Oh, I don't like tight spaces.
Gotcha. Okay.
This bird you cannot cage.
I feel like that's not quite in right. That's a little bit tight, but you're opening up into a different space that's less tight. I'm going to take that back. You are going to roll on that one because when we really going to take that in because getting off a spiral staircase is always a little bit there. It's always a sense of like you're confined. You can't just move.
Cool.
Without turning into a bird. Off a spiral staircase.
Which is really funny because if I turn into a bird, this is no longer a confined space at all because it's so much bigger when I'm a bird.
Yeah. Turning into bird may be one of the options I give you if this goes badly. But we're going to kind of do that real quick. You're a sleuth, Flit. You're awesome. Much like your housemates downstairs were.
Are you always a sleuth when you're a character, or is
You're
that...
always a sleuth.
Okay,
Yeah.
everyone's always... So that's basically saying you get to die.
You get to die, yeah.
Okay.
You're not injured or scared at all right now, so you get 2 dice.
Yay.
What are your backgrounds there, Foot?
So I have a couple things. One, I'm a crow.
Yeah.
Which means I'm pretty light on my feet because I can fly. However, I would like to
You have
combine that
hollow
with
bones.
specifically. I noted that I am a track star, so I am somebody. I think physical movement and like body control are very much in my forte. Between those two, I don't think we need 2 dice, but like we have a relevant background, right? So, do I have a relevant skill? I love how I also played this as the shy, awkward guy, and I'm definitely charming, spying, music, and brawling. Maybe a ally or NPC.
You definitely do not have a golden opportunity right now. You're going into a space you know nothing about.
Yeah, I don't. I think that's it. I think it's 4.
And you know that Fedora dude is down there somewhere. I just can't make myself say cum gutters that often.
Howard.
I thought
I've
you were
used
going
up
to say
my allotment.
you couldn't bring yourself to say it as you said it out loud, which is an excellent bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I can say fuck 1,000 times a night, but I feel like I have an allotment of saying cum gutters twice.
I got 3 6s and a 5.
Tech.
So I should not roll again, is what I'm saying, ever in this
Yeah,
game.
no, no.
That's it.
Sadly,
for me.
that you can't stack up the rolls. You're not scared at all. I don't even think it's possible for you to be scared.
That
right now.
shiny is just pulling me through. I remember how sparkly that wire was, and I'm gonna get it.
Just riding that high, man.
And you definitely achieve your goal. You are super quiet on these metal stairs. You come down. The little spiral staircase that goes up to the tower kind of comes down on sort of this big staircase that sort of like leads from the 2nd floor to the 1st floor. What is going on in chat now?
Nothing. You just keep on saying that we come down.
You have to find a word to replace come with.
After what I wrote
Like
in Discord, which we will never reveal to anyone, that Keegan then responded to.
You descend.
I'm just saying a comma would have saved that. That little comma would have changed that whole sentence.
You descend the spiral staircase. You get to the base of the spiral staircase. You seem to be on the 2nd floor. You know, because
I'm sorry. I didn't think it would kill Sarah.
I don't know what noise Sarah's making.
oh god,
I think she died.
I can't tell if it's pain or delight.
I can't believe this is only the 2nd time I've hung out with Sarah and somebody accidentally killed her.
Oh my god, no.
Oh, she's live. Cool.
I can't. I was.
Sarah, transform to a crow twice if you need us to call help right now.
Smokes.
I know Sarah's not at their normal streaming location, but I do hope they're in a safe space for that.
Yeah, I'm okay. I had the momentum. I was reaching down to pet Pascal, and then I read it, and I couldn't anymore. So I just
Poor Pascal.
where should take me.
For those watching this on like a YouTube channel in the future,
I'm
the
so
chat
sorry.
is just our chat there. I blame Ray.
I mean, Ray did say the thing I had to approve that then led to me feeling free to
Unleash the gum. Do we need to go on break?
No. We'll be fine.
Cool.
Richard and I were talking the other day about how he only streams here and on one other channel, and I was like, it's because the vibe is just friends hanging out. And this, if this is the first time you're ever watching an RPG stream, wow. Welcome.
Wow.
We're so glad you're
Wow.
here. But this is literally if you get together with good friends to play an RPG at your house. within the first 3 sessions, this is what happens.
Yeah. Are you saying though that we're good friends around a table?
We're on a digital table.
Okay.
And yes, I am.
That was a joke, but never mind. That's
I just thought you wanted to be affirmed that we were friends. And so...
Oh no. I was just trying to make a Critical Role joke, but
Good
I see.
vibes only.
that's good vibes only.
Just to-
All right. And I feel like we're coming up on a break, but I want to get Tony to the base of these stairs finally.
We will soon arrive at a break.
We have to be able to say that word. I need you guys to get it together.
That time it was because somebody recently died and fell on the floor from that word. I make it to the bottom of the stairs.
All right. We're not going to comment on bottom right now, but okay. All right. You're at the base of the stairs.
We're not children, Richard.
You three aren't. I am.
Spiral staircases have a long shaft, so I love it.
You were
The glasses are gone. We're just going blind.
You were sneaky and no one heard you. But you can see shirtless dude descending the stairs, talking to somebody in the lobby of this building. It looks like a pretty ornate lobby too. You'll probably want to hang back in a second so that no one can look up the stairs and see you.
Yeah.
And talking to somebody like, I thought I heard something outside that window, but I didn't see anything. Yeah, the dude's like knocked out. Like, yeah, that whole transference should, from what Simon was telling us, transference should be like we should be ready to get out of here in the next 3 or 4 hours. By dawn, we should be getting ready to go.
And then the weird thing is he says, I also feel like I heard a crow scream my given Christian name outside the window.
Except this is not Smokes. This dude is not Smokes.
Right.
Smokes
I know, but I also
gutters.
yelled the other name.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't know. I heard something about Fedora and then some other thing.
Awesome.
I'm like, but maybe I'm so happy with how this hat fits. You hear Fedora cum gutters like flip on a stereo, and the zombies start playing. Time of the season. It is way too late for that to be like a cool thing to play. I mean, it's still a cool song, but and then they start talking in sort of lower tones to each other about things. And I feel like we're heading close enough to a break. We have 2 people in the basement, 1 person on the 2nd floor. And after break, we want to find out what's going on.
Sounds great. We'll be back in just a few minutes to keep on keeping on and playing Moonlight on Roseville Beach. Will we solve the mystery?
Will we make it any further, or will we be derailed by infinite cum jokes?
Find out when we're back in just a few minutes.
Just a wave of cum.
We're here. uh, we all calmed down, and then
We're gonna be
Richard
so
said all the
mature.
things he wouldn't say on air during the break, and now we'll see how the rest of it goes.
I was just talking about how cool John Harness is, so that's I don't know what Tony's talking about.
John, I just heard about your dialect setting prompt, and it sounds amazing. But I'm very excited. Richard, take us back in to the lodge.
We are back in the basement of Bracknell Lodge, where Heidi and Concrete have broken in. The two of you are in a very dark room. You can tell you are definitely, this laundry goes on down here because you had to crawl in over like a washer dryer unit to kind of get onto the poured concrete floor. Are y'all in standard like Friday night beach bartender wear? Like Hawaiian shirt and or tank top and like bathing suit, flip flops, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can definitely feel through the flip flops that cold concrete of the floor. And it's a really dark room. With those wolfy senses concrete, you can sort of make out there's some sort of like rickety staircase going up. And what do the two of you want to do? There seems to be something that like looks like a light, but like one of those basement light boxes. You can see like all like the metal encased wires sort of going to like a switch box of some sort. Or you can just head up, try to be quiet heading up those stairs. It's completely up to y'all. What do you want to do? There is not nothing looks to be lit coming from the top of the stairs.
Are there like piles of laundry in this room?
There are a bunch of like if you sort of like run your hands around, you can sense like folded sheets, folded towels. It doesn't seem like somebody has just finished something.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right now, what are you doing? Like, or how are you sort of like looking around? Do you want to take some time and look?
Yeah, I think in my mind we have just broken into a building, and like it feels very like mystery adjacent that we would ascend and be in like uniforms of some kind, like no longer our bartender garb, like if there were uniforms for this establishment. That's kind of where I was going with this, like we disguise ourselves so we're less conspicuous.
All right. Do you want to flip the light on, or do you just want to sort of hunt around in the dark?
Well,
because even with that dark vision, sensing clothes versus towels is.
I was gonna make a joke that I had dark vision and that ruined it for me.
I think
I'm just here to help.
Yeah, you're good.
Would do the thing like we're just going to turn the light on for just a second, just long enough that we can, if we see a uniform, we're just going to go in that direction and grab it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you? So I'll be at the light switch. 3, 2, 1. Flip it on, just long enough to like see clothes. Turn it off.
You flip the light switch on. And you see immediately two older dudes who both look like, hotel employee gear. One of them looks a little more like a gardener, just like proto cargo pants, like long sleeve t-shirt, even though it's the middle of summer, because digging around in vines is always a risk of poison ivy. So one of them looks like a gardener. One of them looks sort of like a server of some sort, because it's just like black with sort of an apron over it. The clothes, both of them are dead asleep. You can see a really slight rise and fall of the chest, but they're sort of just slouched against each other, kind of halfway tucked behind one of the washing machines.
Yeah, I like if I see human people, I'm not gonna turn off the light. Well, that's not true. I'm gonna turn off the light. Concrete.
Yeah.
Are there people down here?
Oh, my bad. You didn't smell them?
Oh my god.
Now that you think about it, Concrete, you sort of smell something that smells a little druggy. You don't have much medical experience, I assume.
No, probably
Right.
not.
Yeah, but like there's something that smells a little off and druggy about the space. Like it's very faint. It's almost like somebody gave them something that knocked them out
Okay.
and then just sort of stashed them down here.
Yeah. My bad. I just thought you knew they were here. You can't smell the drugs.
No, I guess not. I guess not.
My bad. They're gonna stay asleep though. You don't have to worry about them.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn the light back on then in that case and go over to them. Because at this point, like, there are people, and I just want to check. I do have first aid as a skill. I just want to check and make sure that they like there's no immediate physical trauma or anything like that.
No immediate physical trauma, and you've turned the light back on, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
No physical trauma. It looks a little like somebody drugged them, possibly unexpectedly, possibly through food. The very faint smell of something sort of may suggest they may have like done something chloroformish, where they were like somebody hit something on a rag, shoved it over their face, and then they just sort of collapsed. That may not explain why they're out for so long, but this is also me using chloroform as a plot device without having looked up how long chloroform knocks people
We're
out.
fine. I get the vibe.
I mean, you know what I'm doing right now, then, right?
There's a real like stickler for these sort of details.
Yeah, I think that's gonna flag as weird. We heard Flit yelling about smokes, and like, I'm going to call attention to what Bailey said about smokes before they left the bar, and how Bailey said that they were acting like they were totally out of it, not like they'd been overserved. Maybe that like.
No, maybe that explains that. Okay.
Right.
So, order of operations. We get Smokes, we bring him down, and then we take everybody out of the building.
Okay. Do you think that there's anybody in the building who's not like this? I mean, all the lights are turned out except for one. That's not common for this place.
Yeah. I mean, we should look around.
Okay. Do we still want to try and find disguises?
You definitely see like the basic black smock and black trousers.
Hell yeah. Even as I say it, I go, never mind.
The like, basic black shoes. So you will sort of like have a tell that you're sort of like,
we'll still be in our flip-flops. That's a-okay.
Yeah.
But just as long as it's like an initial pass kind of deal.
Right.
I'll even just kind of like throw it on over what I have on, sort of a deal. And then make to go up the stairs.
These are pretty, I mean, they're sort of designed to be easy to throw on and make you look sort of nondescript, like a bland server. Like, you know, you throw something on, you slip some shoes on. It's not too hard to find something that fits. And then you're just heading upstairs from there.
Mm-hmm.
You get about halfway upstairs, and that sound of the zombies playing, like going right through time of the season, sort of comes on. There's a faint smell of grass, by which I mean pot.
Yep.
Like someone is smoking a little bit. But there is no light at the top of the stairs. There's sort of like a non-locking swinging door, almost like a kitchen door, like at the top of the stairs. You can see, once you get up there, you can see like a little window up there. So like you could sort of see out, but you're looking into a dark room when you get up there. You going in?
Yeah, I think.
I was going to say, at this point, I think I'm just team turn all the lights on when we enter rooms. Because it worked out this time, so it'll probably work out every time.
You get to the top of the stairs. And you come out into something that sort of like by the fact that you just switched to tile floors, and they're sort of like industrial tile floors, it feels sort of kitchenish when you come out. Y'all both smell like food, heavy duty, like somebody has just left food sitting out, not like to spoil, but just like somebody has left snack trays type food, like just sitting somewhere. So there's not like ruined, but like somebody has definitely like left the smoked oysters the tin of smoked oysters open for like, you know, a little bit kind of thing. Before you do much, you definitely see that there is a similar sort of swinging door with a small window in it that seems to be looking out into a lit area. You can't quite see that from where you came up from the basement. And you see that like right near where you came up from the basement, there is a different set of stairs going up. But you seem to be in the dark. You're sort of sensing you're sort of in a kitchenish type space. The zombies music coming from the first floor, where the smell of pot is coming from as well. And there's some low conversation voices coming through that door. And while you decide what to do, I'm going to find out what Flit's doing upstairs. Flit, you have reached the base of these like stairs as described below. You can see people talking. You can see people talking in that level below you. You can't quite make them out or make out what they're saying, but like you can see like them moving around in this sort of lobby living room area. From the little bit you're glimpsing, it seems like a really ornately decorated lobby.
Yeah.
It has a pretty good stereo system. Up here in the hallway, the handful of nice rooms sort of against the back wall, the ones that would overlook like the pool and the bay type rooms, their doors all seem to be like wide open, like like, and you're getting a sense that those rooms are sort of like have people's crap in them.
Okay.
And they've left them open. The less expensive, by which I mean still absurdly expensive, but less expensive than the nice rooms, like the 5 or 6 of those kind of looking out over the town, the ones you looked out at, like that you were able to peek in, those doors seem ajar in that kind of uniform way that like old hotels use to kind of like for the cleaning service to sort of signify that I have cleaned this room and no one's in it, kind of ajar. But one of them, roughly approximate to where you looked in and saw smokes, is like the door is closed with a light coming on from under that door.
Cool.
Just to kind of give you everything that you're sensing, seeing right there.
Yeah.
What would you like to do?
I am going to, so I didn't change after work, so I've still got my like crappy Cedar Point vest on with a loose shirt. I'm gonna ditch that vest. I'm just gonna
you actually have to wear pants. You're the only bartender, like the only bar in the town that makes people wear pants.
Yeah. And also that piano bench, it's just not comfortable to sit on with, without pants. And so yeah, I ditched the vest, and I'm gonna try to drop my, hey, I'm a hotel worker, and try to kind of just seem like I belong in this space, that I don't, but is far more on par with, I think, what Flit is used to in the world. And make my way towards that door that's closed.
It's not very far from where you are. What do you want to do? They seem to be talking downstairs. They don't seem to be doing much.
I'm gonna open the door. I mean, there's shiny stuff in there.
Nice. You open the door, and like much like you saw outside the window, but this time from the door, in full unobscured vision, you see Smokes passed out on the bed. And this is hardcore passed out. It is not, this is fainted passed out. This is not like asleep. because asleep people sort of keep moving and they're sort of quasi-responsive and their eyes flicker and things like that. This is
He
like
is
if there
dreamlessly
wasn't-
unconscious.
Yeah, if this is like if you didn't see the slight rise and fall of his chest, you might be worried that Smokes was dead. Like he's holding so perfectly still. You see the EEG things taped to his head, the little shiny wires that are just a little too thick to be normal kind of like medical device wires. Definitely silvery, because they're coming as if they're organically attached to this foot diameter silver canister that's like 2.5 feet high, that's sitting on a little nightstand by this itty bitty little bed. And those wires seem to be, they're not implanted. They seem to be organically just coming off that silvery canister. And somebody has tapped electrodes to them and then tapped those onto the very, very unconscious Smokes. I feel like, Concrete, correct me if I'm wrong, Smokes has possibly passed out at your place before.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Smokes
Absolutely.
definitely like one of those people who curls himself into a fetal position, knees up, arms across his chest. Definitely very baby, like when you catch him sleeping on the sofa, Flick. Not baby right now. Like flat out, almost like coma, or somebody in a hospital sort of.
Cool. I don't know anything about that. What I do know is there's a lot of silver stuff in here, and my bird brain is still on shiny. I'm going to remove the wires without any sort of consideration for what's happening.
I love this.
And that silver canister. And I'm simply going to open up the second story window and put them outside, right out of view of anyone inside, and then close the window again.
So I have this little quick resolution system for things where I'm not quite sure what would happen.
Wait, no one has just ripped the diodes off this guy's brain before?
Oh no, this is about like trying to perch that canister on the little ledge outside the window. Yeah, that quick resolution system says you've got it precariously perched.
Okay.
On that.
I mean, I was standing on that ledge earlier and there was plenty of space. So in my mind,
you were a bird.
Right.
Yeah.
But in my mind, there's plenty of space on that ledge.
Like a part of that silver canister is like sticking out over the edge.
Yeah.
Of that ledge, but like enough of it's on it that like it's not falling over right now. Also, as soon as you detach those wires, they vanish. They're just you can't tell if they sort of retract back into the canister.
That's what I'm hoping.
But like there's no like space that somebody has attached wires to the canister. It's almost like it grew hair-like tendrils. Because also when you pull your hand away from it after putting outside, you see those tendrils sort of like follow you. And then they sort of like, once you pull your hand far enough away, they just sort of vanish/retract back towards the canister.
Okay.
I'm sure that's fine.
That's fine.
normal.
I closed the window.
Yeah. It takes a second, but Smoke starts acting more like a restlessly sleeping person than a like faint unconscious person. What would you like to do now? Like he's still like
I put his hat back on him.
Oh, that'll fix him.
And then I walk back out.
Where are you headed?
I'm headed back towards the lobby where there are people, but now I'm in like I'm a medium-sized fish in a big pond mode, and just pretty much headed straight towards where people are, because I have no idea where my friends are.
Are you heading downstairs? Are you trying to discreetly go downstairs? Are you just sort of like walking downstairs into the lobby?
I'm certainly in no way, shape, or form drawing attention to myself, knowing I need to get back where people are before any of that happens. But I am just acting as if I am supposed to be here and belong as I head towards the main lobby where people are gathered.
Okay. Because you've only heard two voices coming from down there. You did hear two voices outside as well.
Okay.
On the patio.
Two distinct
area.
sets of two voices.
So you heard two sets of two voices, some coming from the lobby, some coming from the patio. But I want to check on what's going on in the kitchen. What are y'all doing down there, downstairs?
Immediately, I'm sniffing out the smoked oyster. I've been waiting for this.
The smoked oyster tin has been open a little long, but there's nothing spoiled about it. I mean, they're smoked.
Eating it.
Like they're.
You didn't even have to tell me they weren't spoiled. They're gone.
Yeah. I mean, like, they give you hot dogs at work for free, comp. But they're kind of crappy hot dogs.
That's what happens with the ones at work. I get it.
What?
That's always the case with the hot dogs from work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always the case with bar hot dogs anyway,
Yeah.
But yeah, these are pretty nice smoked oysters. These are not like Roland smoked oysters. These are like a nicer, like you can't see what it is. This is a nicer brand of smoked oysters.
As I finish the tin, I do turn to Heidi and say, "I'm sorry. Did you want some of these?"
Did we turn the light on?
I was going to let y'all determine. I wanted to describe before y'all turn the light on.
But that was my question. Did you? Because here's the alternative. If we didn't turn the light on, you just disappeared. I heard.
Oh my gosh, these are so good.
Did you want some?
I like to think it wasn't just. It was more like. It was more like a dog gobbling something.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll go with the lights are turned off, but there was light coming through like the window of the.
Yeah, there's a little window leading out to the lobby. It's definitely up here. You can see it's very much like a kitchen door, like the whole thing with like a little window in it, so you don't slap somebody.
Yeah, and try to get a look through it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
So you're definitely peeking out into a lit area. I won't have you build a full die pool, but I would like you to roll 2 dice and tell me what your highest one is.
I got you. A 6. I got a 6
Nice.
and a 4.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You're able to sort of stay out. You sort of like can sort of see what's reflecting back from the lit area into the dark glass, and can take advantage of the fact that they're going to have an easier time. You're going to have an easier time looking out than they will have looking in. And you see the shirtless guy, fucking fedora still like on his head, talking to the woman who'd been flirting with you.
Okay.
And you see a weird small silver canister. It's about 2 feet tall, foot in diameter, sort of sitting right next to her, like a foot or so away.
Okay.
If you pivot slightly, you can see a couple of people out on the patio. There's like not a lot of big windows for the lobby facing the wall, so that if somebody was like to climb up on the wall, they wouldn't be able to see into the front of the building. But the back of the building, overlooking like the garden and the pool and the harbor and all that, you definitely see like, most of that is like all glass. And you see a couple of people smoking cigarettes out on the balcony. Shirtless dude definitely has a joint. He's smoking. He's kind of flipping through records while he's talking to the woman.
Lacey, right?
She gave you.
Gotcha.
That was me.
Yeah, that's concrete in the background.
Sorry about that.
Feed me oysters.
Where are the rest of the oysters?
I need them. I need them right now. So how many individuals can I see that are awake? Because by my count, there's
You
like
see 2 people in the lobby and 2 people out on the patio.
I'm going to whisper for concrete and ask, do you want to keep trying to sneak, or do you want to just back me up on a really stupid plan?
Always the
Okay,
latter.
great. I'm going to I want to turn the kitchen light. Well, no, I want to leave it off. But I am going to step out into the room where Fedora and Lacey are.
Fedora?
Huh?
FC.
Fedora?
FC, no, classic,
Oh,
classic
okay.
FCG. And I'm gonna like lean on the traveling company a little bit and kind of act like a little disheveled, like, oh my gosh, it's so easy to get turned around here. Oh, hi, Lacey. Hi, I've been looking everywhere for you, and kind of go over as if I.
You are in a server's costume right now, right?
Mm-hmm, correct.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're coming out just as Flit's coming down the stairs.
Mm-hmm. Do I see Flit coming down the stairs?
I think as soon as you step out, Flit's like casually walking down the stairs.
And I think here's the question.
Yeah.
Do you have a mental picture of Flit that is an unconfident, shy, like passive hiding individual? Because that is not the Flit that is walking down the stairs right now.
I think we're seeing. I think Flit and Heidi are seeing sides of each other that they've never seen. I think it's be really weird for them, because you're watching me intentionally engage with someone with like the purpose of like getting to know them, or like feel very open and like talkative, and I see you like as a confident, just like doing my thing, and it's almost like in the passing moment where it's just like, okay, great, but I'm committed to my bit right now.
That's fine. You commit to your bit. I'm going to walk up to Fedora Cum Gutters and be like, can I get some of that? And just grab it out of his mouth.
Amazing.
Let me sort of like give you a little thing that like, as soon as like you sort of turn that pivot in the stairs, the one that actually like, the little bitty landing that sort of like puts you in view of people in the lobby. They sort of look up, and then right by those stairs is the door from the kitchen. So glad I had Dai create a map of this place.
So that our dumb bits can be precisely timed out beat by beat.
Yeah. That door opens, and so they both turn and pivot and look kind of gape-jawed right at the two of you. One coming from the kitchen, one coming down the stairs. And you say, Lacey, I'm so glad I found you. It's so easy to get a turn around in this place, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And she smiles initially at you and then notices somebody coming down the stairs. You see FCG immediately reach for something that's sort of like tucked into the folds of the chair he's sitting on. Like instinctively, like reaches for something. And Lacey stands up really assertively, like she's about to take. Oh, Heidi.
Yeah, hi. I got your note. I asked around to figure out, kind of where you were hanging out. I just really appreciate, you saying what you did, and I was, really feeling like I could use someone to talk to, someone who gets it, who knows it. Um, and she's gonna watch his foot just kind of aggressively, his foot still taking the joint.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah, you're crossing, but as you come down that last bit, you've got a little height on him. He has tucked a revolver into the side of that chair that he's sitting in. Because it's way too uncomfortable to tuck it into the back of his like board
Come
shorts.
gutters.
Yeah, FPG. Like it's way too uncomfortable to tuck it back there. So he's like got like a cushioned like chair he's in, and he's like between the cushion and the side arm of the chair, he's got a revolver. Now that goes off. Like somebody's going to call the police, and the
Right.
last thing you want to have in Roseville Beach is those mainland county police take the police boat across the bay and show up.
Yeah, because someone's getting arrested.
Someone's getting arrested, and it's not going to be the straight people with a gun.
Right.
It's not going to be the straight dude who actually has a gun. It will be somebody who's. They will literally go upstairs and are like, there's a passed out queer kid here. Take him in.
Right.
Open and shut case. Thank you, Mr. Straight Shirtless Dude, for solving this for us. So you just see he's like reaching for something. Flit, do you still want to walk up to him and say that? Can I get some of that?
Yes.
All right. You start walking towards him. He's like, hey. He's not standing up. He's sort of like increasing his grip. Lacey's like, Heidi, is this a friend of yours?
Yes, kind of a colleague and a roommate.
Oh,
And I put my hand out on like her shoulder if I'm close enough.
are you moving into the room, Heidi? Just to sort of.
Yeah, yep. I'm trying to keep them from like thinking about anything that could be in the kitchen.
And I say,
For instance, a werewolf. You don't
For
want to look
instance.
at
Yeah,
the werewolf
for
in the
instance.
kitchen.
I think we passed each other earlier at Rosie's. I've seen you around. I play music at a couple of the different like bars and hotels. Like
Oh, I heard you play early tonight.
Yeah. And
The way you led everybody together and kissed today goodbye was pretty amazing.
yeah, it's my first time also too. So like I was a little surprised at the response. I'm surprised I didn't get a little fluttered, but it is it was a blast. And yeah, I mean I've come out here and done a few private events and just thought I would stop by and see what was up. Is it Gray? Is Gray the manager out here?
Yeah, Gray is the person who owns the place.
Owns the place. I didn't want to bother anybody, but I just sometimes when the town gets quiet, there's still something lively kicking up out here.
We didn't hear the buzzer ring, or we would have let you in ourselves. The two of you together, both. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, we didn't come in together.
They mean like not together. I know it's a little confusing. I'm unattached, as it were. Isn't that right, Flit? Because we definitely came here together.
Right.
But not together.
But not
But
together.
not together. Yes.
Also,
Yeah.
we should pause real quick. Hey, Cassie is rating us right now with a party of 9. We're playing Moonlight on Roseville Beach. Great to have y'all with us. We're really glad you're joining us. If you have not checked out Moonlight on Roseville Beach, please do.
Also,
the chat has been wild, and so caution warning. I don't know a good way to make a caution warning without saying the thing.
yeah,
immediately.
trigger warning. This one contains a lot of cum, is what Tony's trying to say.
Mostly just us saying it so far. but it does. And just
There's a
FYI.
character named Fedora Cumgutters, and you all just need to know that if you're gonna keep watching.
Yes. But yeah, Richard, do you want to give the elevator pitch real quick for Moonlight
Oh
Roseville
yeah,
Beach
yeah.
since we got some new viewers?
Thank you, Cassie, for the raid. And this is a queer game of disco and cosmic horror. It is a comedy horror game set in a queer beach community in the year 1979, where the people who live and work on the island are sort of like trying to keep the community safe, for everybody to have a great summer, despite the fact that there are cultists, monsters, entities, and possibly alien gods scattered around the town, who make having a nice, safe, fun summer a little bit of a challenge. And we're in the middle of the exclusive but strangely depopulated Bracknell Lodge, where the werewolf Concrete's friend Smokes has I can't even blame Keegan for the name Smokes, because I think I put that on.
That's literally on the
Like, I came up with that, and then I'm like, what? This poor kid named Smokes, like doomed to be like an ad for cigarettes.
If a kid goes around letting other people or having other people call them Smokes, that's a choice they've made, and they're okay with it.
It's not actually his God-given Christian name. He just did the thing where he
not like other characters.
Smoked a pack of cigarettes in front of his parents because they called him, the smoking one or whatever.
Yeah.
And the name just stuck.
Yeah, hey, I'm Smokes. Even though he's not from Long Island at all. Definitely trying hard to keep that Long Island accent. And they've just sort of had a very assertive confrontation with the kidnappers. There are two people outside on the balcony on the patio who've not turned around yet to look inside this beautiful. This is a really luxurious lobby. There's a lovely grand piano that's like looks like Liberace would be shy to perform on it. Like, it's so ostentatiously decorated. Lots of very plush 70s furniture. You are definitely standing on shag carpet. And there are several terrible imitations of really expensive famous paintings hanging around the lobby as well. Again, this is what you get for $80 a night in 1979. The guy in the fedora with no shirt on and like the really bad mismatched tattoos. All of them would be great tattoos if they were not so weirdly mismatched next to each other. Seems to be reaching for a revolver that he has hidden sort of in the chair that he's sitting on, like under the cushion of the chair he's sitting on. There is a woman who's standing up, looking at the two of you. And you just said something, Heidi. What was it you just said?
I was covering off that we arrived together to try and because Flick came from the upstairs where there's no clear entryway, and I came from the basement where there's no clear entryway. So I was trying to no, we arrived together. We just got separated and mixed up, and we definitely came through the front door.
You should have rung the buzzer, and we could have just let you in and had a lovely conversation downstairs.
Oh, it's fine. We're a regular here. You know what I mean? So not a big deal at all. But I'm wondering, if you have time for that conversation that you hinted at with your lovely little note, if you'd want to, I don't know, go talk or something.
At this point, Flit, you notice that the person outside is Chip, the occult detective you've been sort of evading.
Oh, shit. Does this throw me off my
Are
game?
talking to a woman who sort of, this is a woman who sort of, she radiates boat staff or boat crew. Like she's like dressed in like khaki shorts and like a knit shirt. She looks like she's just off a America's Cup yacht. And she is sort of like talking to Chip, the occult detective you've been avoiding. And they've not turned around and noticed anything going on inside. But Lacey's like, oh, why don't we just have this? Mikey is so stressed, like all the time. I keep telling me he should just unwind and let things go. And she like walks over and pats him on the shoulder. Like, just let things go. Like, there's nothing terrible is going to happen. Why don't we just all have a little chat down here? Our friends June and Chip are outside talking to each other. Is there anybody else with you?
No, just the two of us.
Great.
I'm gonna kind of just mirror alongside her, see if I can get a little closer to this guy. I want to get into his space in a non-confrontational way. Like, so this is me approaching with a friend, sliding alongside her, not in a quick, aggressive way, in order to get potentially uncomfortably close to him.
She's talking and he's like moving his hand just by like fractions of an inch away from the revolver, sort of hidden in the seat cushion. And you sort of approach and he sort of looks at you as like, yeah, let's just all sit down and have a relaxed conversation. He gestures to a chair that's like a few feet back from where you are. Are you still sort of approaching?
Yeah, what is he sitting on?
He is sitting on like a nice sort of like cushion chair.
Is there a chair closer to him?
Yeah, there's a chair a little bit like slightly closer and slightly behind where he is, but very easy to like pull up forward.
Yeah, I think I'm going to just slide that chair over a little closer. And I'm just going to hold out my hand expectantly.
Like handshake?
No, like pass me that joint, dude.
Nice. Okay.
I truly thought you meant like kiss my hand.
I'm going to reach my hands out closely and just fondle his abs.
I've been there.
That's not uncomfortable at all.
No, yeah, I'm going to just reach my hand out expectantly.
He has had the joint sort of like pursed in his lips so that he can like hands free for action.
If he doesn't move, I will lean in and pluck it out of his mouth. And that'll do quickly.
He sort of points just to the joint.
Yeah.
He takes it out and hands it to you. Holds up a lighter for you. Hands it to you.
I take it. I light it.
He relaxes slightly, sits back down, keeps his hands where you can see him. Yeah, let's just relax and have a conversation, between four friends.
Are the other two going to join us?
Oh, like Chip and June are talking about something.
Richard, you mentioned that there was a silver canister next to Lacey.
Yeah, right next to Lacey, where Lacey was sitting, about a foot away from her.
Did it have things coming off of it, or is it just a canister?
No, it's just a canister.
Hmm.
None of those weird tendrily wires coming off.
Yeah.
Of it.
How large is the canister?
About a foot in diameter and about 2.5 feet tall.
Is this like some kind of like mini keg that you've got here, like a private event or something?
While you say that, you can sort of see this looks of a solid piece. That you don't see seams or breaks or anything where it would open.
Gotcha.
Just that's for your information, but like,
Yep. I think I would still
just
say
like,
this
oh, this,
Yeah.
no. Our friend Simon gave us this.
Okay. It's like a trophy, or I mean, what is it? I've never seen anything like that before.
Oh, he really loves just sort of like that sort of like, abstract geometrical artistry in sculpture.
Oh, okay. Do you mind if I take a closer look at it? I find it fascinating. And without waiting for permission, I'm gonna go and try to look at it.
When she asked that, I immediately hand Lacey the joint.
Lacey is sort of confused by you handing her the joint. So you're actually able to get pretty close to it and reach out for it. Are you trying to what are you trying to do there? Are you trying to take it? Or are you trying to just brush your hand across?
I don't actually care about this canister. I'm trying to determine how much they care about this canister. So I'm gonna go over to it and be like, "Oh, this is kind of cool," and be rougher with it than you would any other foreign object. You know what I mean?
So there's something kind of odd, Heidi, that as soon as you get your hand close to the canister, it's like it extends tendrils, and you can't quite tell where they're extending from. It's almost like they unfold from the seamless line of the canister.
Uh-huh.
And they sort of reach up towards you.
Okay. Do Lacey and FCG say anything? Is there any kind of
as soon as they do that, they're like, "Oh no, don't yeah, they're kind of fragile. Don't mess with them."
Yeah, I'm gonna
distracted by the you handing her something.
Yeah.
You see FCG's hand sort of like Mikey's hand, just sort of back to where he has the revolver hidden. But not quite all the way there, just hovering near where it is. She's like, "Why don't I can take it upstairs with us in a bit and show it to you in my room."
Oh no, that's fine. You don't need to do that. It seems like it's a pretty cool thing. Yeah, but I would love to get to know you guys a little bit better. And she's gonna move over to where Lacey was sitting next to the canister and kind of throw herself into the chair. So tell me about what brings you here? And is going to very loudly start asking questions in an attempt to let Concrete know that she has them distracted towards her and away from the kitchen door.
Concrete, what's up in the kitchen?
So I don't know how much faith I have generally in Heidi and Flit right now. So I think as they went off, I was like, okay, cool, let's go find the phone line and just cut it just in case. Just in case. I don't want someone here to call the cops.
That is just a yes. Finding and cutting the phone line, the main branch phone line, you are easily find a utility closet. You don't even necessarily need to cut it. You can just detach it.
Perfect. And then waiting to see what's going on, and when it looks like they're distracted, I'm going to try to sneak up the stairs. Since I think that's the signal Heidi was trying to give me there.
You head up those kitchen stairs. Those going to take you to the far end of the second floor hallway. I think, like I said before, most of the doors are open on the second floor. The rear doors to the nicer rooms are in the lodge are open like in the sense of like people have just sort of left their doors open, and like you can see like their luggage is unpacked or like half unpacked, open on their bed type thing. The cheaper rooms, they have their doors sort of ajar in that way that sort of signals like this room has been clean, but no one's in it. And there's the one door right next to the main staircase that is. Did you close it when you left, Flit?
Yes, because I don't want
Right.
anybody to get the shiny thing before I get it.
Right. Yeah, that is as a closed door with a light coming on from inside it.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna open the door,
You
which
see
would
your
have been
friend Smokes
what I did anyway.
passed out on the bed, looking like he's asleep. Like he's sort of curled into that like fetal position he always gets into.
His hat's on.
His hat's
His hat's
on.
like half on his head, like blocking out vision from one eye.
Okay.
Um,
How many floors up are we?
2.
he's pulled one of the pillows from the bed off and is like snuggling with it.
We're on the 2nd floor, but I do feel like ground level and floors are slightly different depending on what side of the house you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ground level is like the lower level below the boardwalk level of the town. You're on the main floor. They're on the main floor. You're on the 2nd floor.
Okay. So if I were to say put Smokes over his shoulder and then hop out a window.
So the window here is the 2nd floor. Having Smokes over your shoulder would make that really tough.
Yeah. That's what I was worried you were gonna say. Smokes is a pillow, so if I threw that down first,
Then jumped on him.
then jumped on the pillow.
But you don't see anybody like hanging out near or within viewing range of the front door. So you can definitely try to sort of like position yourself carefully and bound down while holding Smokes. That is going to be tough.
I can do it tough.
Yeah,
I can just fail a roll. I'm fine to just
you're a
fail a
freaking
roll.
werewolf.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's either wolf or bartender for backgrounds is fine. So that gives you 3. Bartenders frequently have to like, carry heavy things and do stuff. Also, you're a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 3 dice right there. Your skills don't help much there.
No.
So you're sticking with 3 dice, but you are taking a connection out of a dire situation. So that is your 4th die. There is a chance that you and or Smokes will get hurt in this and or Smokes will get hurt in this. What are your scares? What are your fears again?
Deep water and authority figures.
You're not dealing with deep water or authority figures right now. So really, you just need to put 1 on goal and 1 on injury. And I think we counted out 4 dice.
Yep, that was 4 dice. I rolled that. I got a 5, a 2, a 6, and a 3. So a 5 and a 6 again.
All right. You don't get injured. You do land. You're in easy reach of the gate right now.
Mhm.
So it's a few steps just to walk out. There was a slight thud. And inside the living room, the 2 of you you hear a thump. And they turn. And that's when Chip turns around and spots you, Flit.
Let's play some music. And I walk over to the piano.
What are you playing at the piano? Over the sound of whatever is after Time of the Season on that one Zombies album.
I start picking a little bit at like Kiss You All Over, and I like shake my head, and then you hear the first couple lines of Macho Man, and And then I stop and I'm like, oh no, this is the one. And then I play from last year's hit musical release, Grease. You're the one that I want.
Yes.
Very good.
This was for me. Thank you.
It was free.
Yeah, you break into like You're the One That I Want. And Mikey and Lacey are a little confused right now. What are you doing really quick? Because the dude outside is about to just open the door and walk in. What are you doing there right now, Heidi?
I think if we're just gonna lean into the unhinged behavior, like seeing Flick get up and like, let's play some music, and starts playing You're the One That I Want. I'm just, oh my gosh, I love this song, and I'm just gonna get up and grab Lacey's hand and start like aggressively like swing dancing with her.
Chip
And then
comes in.
Someone close to like, I'm taking a hostage, Richard. I'm doing it really cool.
Chip comes in and is really sort of agitated there. Like you're flit while you're playing, just really loudly talking over you.
Yeah.
Ignoring the two people dancing, like trying to ignore the two people dancing. You might be getting into space there, Heidi.
Yeah, I'm full distraction mode because I'm really worried about the guy with the gun.
I like give a head nod for him to come over, like the classic performer. Like I work it into me playing the piano. Like and indicate that he should come closer if he wants.
Like you're flit. You're one of them. Mike doesn't go for the gun, but he does talk to the woman outside. He's like, June, why don't you go upstairs and check on Simon, our friend Simon, who's upstairs? Where are you headed once you get Smokes out of the... And for the viewers at home, there is no point which Smoke's actual name has ever been Simon, I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
Where am I headed? I want to get Smokes to just the other side of the gate, really. Just sort of
Okay.
prop him up on a wall. You know, kids pass out drunk in this town. I'm sure this isn't the strangest thing to happen. And then I want to just sort of, from the edge of the fence, just sort of keep an eye out.
You looking back up can see that there is a weird silver canister perched on the lit window you just jumped out of.
Shit.
You sort of jumped right past it.
Yeah.
But it's just there. And there's certainly like piano playing going on inside now.
I'm missing out on this, but I'm gonna stay outside.
Mikey's like, June, why don't you go upstairs and check on Simon? See how that transition is coming for him. Transfer.
I think the only thing that would, Heidi doesn't have any reference for that. And I think she'll look at Lacey. Oh, your friend Simon is here. That's kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah. No. Well, we're just sort of getting Simon into a kind of a new position in life after being sort of reclusive and shut in for a while.
Gotcha. I feel like I could use that kind of transition in my own life. You know, what with everything that happened, it's been really hard to feel like I can trust anybody, you know. As we continue to dance to You're the One That I Want.
Upstairs and have a little more of a conversation about things. She looked over. at the other
Great. And I'm
people.
going to grab her hand. And before June can make it to the stairs, I'm just, again, full steam ahead. I'm going to, like, excuse me, and, like, knock past June to, like, pull Lacey up the stairs with me.
I switched to hot blooded at that point in time.
Let's get some dice out there, Heidi, because
Yeah.
you are you're a bartender. You're really good at like cutting through a crowd to get things done.
Uh-huh.
Often while pulling someone behind you.
Mm-hmm.
You have several backgrounds that would be good at this. Bartender and minor league softball player are both really useful. You are tough.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's 4 dice right away.
Awesome.
Potentially injured. You're scared of authority figures and bugs, correct?
Bugs, deep water, and authority figures. Yes.
None of those are in play right now. So I think you definitely need to put something on goal and injured.
Gotcha. So how many dice am I rolling?
I think 4.
4. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So my 2 highest are 6 and 5.
You know, I'm gonna have to do a dice audit here to see, like, you know, where y'all get these really high numbers from.
6, 5, 5, and 3. I did roll a 3.
I mean, I showed mine on stream because I was
I
using
can show
Google.
mine.
No, I trust you're reporting correctly. It's the dice I think are betraying me.
They're hot tonight, baby.
They're hot. You are yeah. You push right past June, who is suddenly like. You do see that June has a holster of some sort as you push past her, and you pull Lacey up the stairs. She's like, whoa, 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 whoa. We left our canister friend downstairs, Heidi. But you get in, you see that a big open lit door with an open window. And that's when Heidi, so that's when Lacey, I think, sees. It's like, and all of a sudden, very loudly, she's just like, where's Simon? And she's like, starts darting into the empty room, the one that has the light on, and clearly had an occupied bed only a brief time ago, because you can see it's the indentation in the pillow and the disheveled clothes.
I'm gonna kind of do a quick look around while she's trying to look in the room. Can I see that canister perched on the windowsill?
Oh, it's definitely off to the side, not in.
Yeah,
not
it's definitely
in
off
line
to the
of sight.
side.
Okay, perfect.
You don't see, so you just see her looking at the bed and then looking out the window. And then you see her start to turn to grab something off the window ledge. And she starts to pull another one of those canisters back in as June sort of pushes past you to assist her.
Oh, that's another one of those art pieces. Wow, I mean, your friend Simon must be pretty prolific to just create so much art all the time, you know?
You see June going for her holster.
Mm-hmm.
Downstairs, you see Mike stand up and start to head upstairs, leaving his gun behind, while Chip is like, you're one of those shifters.
You keep on saying that.
Because you are.
Oh, okay.
It's my specialization.
Saying the same thing over and over again?
No, understanding shifters.
And what do you understand about shifters?
Too little. But you're going to tell me more.
Okay.
And he's sort of standing awkwardly, like he's trying to keep you from like running either up the stairs or out the door.
Yeah, I'll go over and sit in Mike's chair and motion to him to sit in the chair I was sitting in.
It's like, no. No tricks. No shifter tricks. Staying where I can see you.
Yeah, right here.
No. Stand where I can see you.
Oh, stand where I can see.
I'm standing where I can see you.
You want to
He's not
stand
giving
where
you instructions. He's just refusing your instructions.
Okay. You stand up where you can see me, as opposed to sitting where you can see me. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm not easily beguiled.
Did the other person he was in a conversation with before, are they still there also?
No, all three of the others ran
Left.
upstairs.
Cool. How do you know these folks?
They hired me for consulting because I am an occult detective who knows my shit. Like I know you're one of those shifters.
Okay. I mean, what other specialties do you have that they needed help with?
Just general, like understanding their bosses' magic notes. All right, that's wait. That's a little more information that you're cleared for, isn't it?
Oh, what's your clearance level?
My clearance level is top level occult detective consultant.
Oh. I mean, that's fine. That's a decent level.
And you're going to sit still right there and answer my questions, aren't you?
Oh, he's sitting now.
I mean,
Maybe take a blood sample.
No, I'm not into that.
No, I'm not asking. I'm telling because I got friends here
Where?
upstairs.
Okay.
Upstairs, Heidi. June and Lacey are both trying to pull that in from the window when Mike kind of comes upstairs behind you, like, what the hell's going on here?
Oh, here, let me just help them. And I'm going to go over and try to push one of them out the window.
There are two, both of them are standing right there. Who are you going for?
June, you said June had a holster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's June. Sorry, girl. You got to go.
Oh man, poor June. I hope your dice hold up because I think you've got.
I know I'm scared, but we're gonna do it. We're just gonna leave
based on what we've talked about before, tough, former minor league softball player / bartender, like.
Yeah, I'm 100% can pick. I can pick someone up. It's gonna be great.
I think that's 4 dice.
Okay.
And you definitely need goal and injured there.
Okay, we're gonna do our best, and we're gonna hope for the best. It's not looking great. I've got my highest are 4 and a 3.
4 and 3. Partially succeed and get injured, or not
fail it also get injured.
Partially succeed and get injured for sure. Like even if I can just get her out of the room.
Yeah, I think what happens is you get
both go out the window.
Her, like,
I was about to say both go out the window.
Ooh, that's good. That's good too.
Halfway out the window, and she can't. She's kind of flailing and she can't reach anything. But she sort of kicks you in the face as Lacey is like sort of like grabbing onto you to try to keep you from pushing June any further. June is in a precarious position by the window. Mike is really confused. He's reaching behind him like to get the gun out of his board shorts, and it's not in his board shorts. It's like, why did he ever take it out and tuck it in the cushion of that chair?
Because he's a dumb idiot.
It's like you met him.
So I assume from outside, I can see that things aren't going well up there.
Yeah, June is like halfway out the window. Lacey is trying to grapple Heidi. Heidi has been kicked in the face.
And Heidi's just yelling, I'm helping. I'm helping.
Okay, so it's just full chaos at this point.
Yeah.
Which is like, how much worse?
2 in the morning?
How much worse could it get?
At this point, it's closer to 3 in the morning, possibly 4.
So I think from upstairs, they just casually see a wolf come around the corner.
June is still holding on to the canister too.
I'm trying to hit the canister. She has it and is trying to not fall off the roof. Is that?
Yeah, she's trying not to fall out that window while holding onto the canister and climb back in. She does not have a spare hand at the moment to get her holster, to reach her holster.
Okay, cool.
What's the wolf doing up there?
Casually approaching the beach house. I want just another thing for them to have to focus on so that my friends can potentially run if they need to.
June's like, oh shit, Chip was right. Did we pack silver bullets?
I think in a very sort of like faux naivety kind of way, just like look at Lacey and put like a really kind of sad face on while I'm still like kind of struggling in the window and I am so clumsy. I'm so sorry. I was just trying to help get her pulled in as she's like trying to like shake to get Lacey to fall
She
off.
is really distracted, like by like, don't drop the canister. And actually, she says, don't drop Simon.
Don't drop. Okay, that's what I wanted. I wanted. I'm if allowed, I'm going to try and get her to drop Simon. Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
gonna take off my flip-flop and throw it at her face. I'm gonna do it.
I'm helping.
Here,
Jordan,
maybe
I think
hold on to this.
I
Take
think
my
you've got 4
chancla.
dice. You've got 4 dice again.
Okay.
So let's roll that and put 1 on injured, 1 on goal.
Okay, I got a 6 and a 2 and then 2 1. So we're gonna go with that 6 and 2.
All right. Goal 6 and 2 injured.
Yeah, I will 100%. I want this woman in that canister to fall off this roof.
You've already been kicked in the face by a woman who was trying to stop herself from falling.
Yeah.
And downstairs, I think, Concrete, you see the canister fall out of June's hand, and June goes tumbling after it, and she face plants right on the patio, the front patio area, like between the gate and the front door, and then she falls into a bush, like she tries to pull herself off, and the canister goes rolling towards you.
I'm good.
And Lacey just turns around and punches you right across the mouth. So you have 2 conditions. You've been kicked in the face and punched in the mouth.
Okay. I would like to suggest that it's at this point that the 1974 hit Ballroom Blitz just starts playing thematically.
I don't know where it came from or who put it on the stereo.
I turned on the player function on the piano before I got up.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a stereo downstairs too. Let's check in downstairs though, because Chip is like, I'm smarter than you. Flit.
Okay, so you know how this works then.
What is this and what is works?
I mean, you just said you were going to take a blood sample. You've got top level clearance. You know the instructions that the boss gave them. You know how this works.
Yeah, he just grabs some sort of vest pocket and pulls a needle out. I just need 1 small blood sample, and I'm going to prove crow shifters are a thing.
Cool. And then when he comes in close, I just take the butt of the gun and whip it across his face.
Let's see how that goes real quick, because we're getting close to closing time, aren't we, Tony?
Yeah.
Closing time.
That won't be out for decades. We can't play
Yeah.
that.
I was gonna say, gotta find the equivalent.
You're Sleuth. You got 2. You're not injured at all in any way. Do remind me next time that you may be injured for the next thing you do. You may
For
miss missing one of those dies there, Heidi.
Yeah, I'm
right now.
I'm a sleuth.
Sleuth's not.
I'm not injured or scared. Do I have a relevant background or skill? I mean, I'm from the big city, and
You've been in a few fights.
been in a few
You're a
fights.
sports hero
I'm a
too.
sports hero.
So you've definitely got a relevant background. Brawling is a relevant skill.
Yep.
I'm seeing 4 dice there. Let me see if you've got. You've also sort of set him up for you to give yourself a golden opportunity to get him close and smack him. So I'm going to give you that 5th one.
Yeah, baby, golden opportunities.
Let's roll this 5. And I think we're going to stick with golden injured. It's our happy space.
Well, that 5th die was a 1, but I did get a 6 and a 4.
You knock him to the side. He's like, "Ow!" What do you do? What are you doing now that you have like a clear path to get where you want to go?
Can we hear the scuffle that's going on upstairs?
Yeah. Now, I also meant to ask you, Heidi, now that you have a clear path to get where you want to go, where do you want to go? Because Lacey's punched you, but is not necessarily in a position to block you.
Gotcha.
If you wanted to bolt, you have a clear path down the stairs as they're in a massive point of confusion and freaking out about the fact that like Simon is rolling around on the ground in a canister somewhere.
Was there anything in the hallway, like any sort of like bench, or this is a like if the quick answer is no.
The hallway is pretty bare. It's very
Okay.
hotel hallway.
Got it. Yeah, I wanna make it for the stairs.
All right, going
did
downstairs?
Yeah,
Okay.
downstairs. And I'm just yelling as I go, "Don't worry, I'll go get her."
You see Heidi come barreling down the stairs, Flit.
Awesome. Were you headed to the front door, or which door are you headed to?
Out. Yeah.
Just right out the front door?
Yeah.
Awesome. You saw Concrete already out there. Concrete, is there anything you were doing?
I'm grabbing Simon.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
He rolled right towards me. I'm making eye contact with this woman who just face planted on a bush. And I'm
just, like,
picking up her.
Her eyes are not anywhere to be seen.
I'm not making eye contact with her. I'm just picking up Simon.
Yeah, the unmoving back of her head is you've grabbed Simon. You're running off, I assume.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back around the corner so I can shift back and pick up Smokes. And then we're just gonna get out of here. I trust that we've created enough of a distraction. The other two can get out.
Unless there's something else y'all want to do, it's easy for the two of you to get out.
That second canister that's just kind of sitting there. If there's a way, like if I can get this extra shirt that I had on to kind of like scoop it up, like I'm taking it off as I come down the stairs to like, so I'm not touching it because I remember the scary tendrils. But I want to steal that second canister as well.
You've got the second canister. You've got the first canister. You're Bolton, I assume.
Bolton like Michael.
Heck yeah. Very good, Tony.
And as y'all bolt back to your bungalow, as they scamper around in confusion, trying to wake up June, trying to figure out where the canisters went, trying to figure out who knocked out Chip. Y'all see the sun start to come up, and you see, the nice cover of potential witnesses coming out of all the people who come out early to watch the sunset. Don't worry, all of them are the extended age of 45 or over.
Oh, they don't matter then. They're dead.
But they are a nice cover of witnesses in case anybody starts coming after you with a gun.
Cool.
And on some unannounced future time, we will find out what might be happening with these canisters and what more Simon's 3 friends might do to recover them.
Dun dun dun. Next time,
if the pilot for Moonlight on Roseville Beach gets picked up by the network,
we're all getting recast.
It's true.
Yeah.
Let's do our reaction roll. Reaction roll is a live stream inside of a live stream. It's our chance to sit down with the creator of a game that we just played and talk about what it was like to play that game. We just finished playing Moonlight on Roseville Beach, a queer game of cosmic horror and disco by Richard Ruane of our Rook Studio, just singular, just one studio for now. But with that any award in your pocket, who knows what could happen?
I'm going to stick to one studio at a time.
You might have multiple studios, but you'll only ever have one at a time.
Yeah.
Richard, why don't you tell people about who you are, what you do, and give us the elevator pitch for Moonlight on Roseville Beach, and a little bit about the development plans for where it's headed.
Yeah. I'm Richard Ruane. I am the creator of our Rook Studio and the games Barrow Keep, Sherwood, and Moonlight on Roseville Beach. There were too many releases at the end of last year, so I'm taking some time this year to slow that down and work on some stuff. And Moonlight on Roseville Beach is a comedy horror game set in 1979 in a queer beach community where people who work there are also trying to keep people who visit it safe from the strange horrors in the woods coming in from the ocean and all the other strange places that cosmic horrors come from. We are currently working on, with some amazing creators like Nora Rose and Sharon Biswas, Ezekur, and Bindi Barrett, a second release related to Moonlight on Roseville Beach, in which we sort of expand some character creation options, add some new mysteries, add some. Nora Rose has written the world's most incredible fiction-forward bestiary of cosmic horror entities that anyone has ever created ever, so we're really looking forward to bring that to you, and it's going to start crowdfunding in October. We've not said officially what crowdfunding will look like yet. We're sort of like kind of slowly building an audience, slowly building a presence for that second release. That's me.
Awesome. And if you are going to Gen Con, which we will not judge one way or the other here live, we might do it privately later. Richard and I will be there.
Won't?
Sarah and Keegan won't.
Interesting.
I said live we won't. Richard and I will be there. So if you want to talk more about Richard in person or get more information on that, swing by booth 449 and we'll have some information on the Kickstarter also. But let's find out about what our players thought about this very normal, very serious Moonlight
Not at all
on Roseville Beach. We
concentric.
just no gutters of any kind. As well as any questions that chat has. Chat, if you have questions, go ahead and toss them in, or thoughts. But let's start with Keegan. Keegan, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, and what it was like to play Moonlight on Roseville Beach?
Yeah, hi, I'm Keegan. You can find me online at keeganexe.com or on Tumblr and basically nowhere else at keeganexe. This was a lot of fun. I had a blast playing this. I'm really bad at asking questions, so I'm just going to pass from here. But
Strong words.
yeah, this is the worst part of streams for me because I'm always like, I had a lot of fun, thanks.
Keegan will also always hop in if they have more thoughts or questions also too, so I don't have to worry about that. Sarah, how about you? Tell people who you are, what you do, and what it was like for you to play Moonlight on Roseville Beach.
Yeah, hi, hello. I'm Sarah Franco. You can find me on all the social media places at Sarah X Frank 0. I had a good time. It was great. I think I really enjoyed the setup of the game, kind of like building us into the mystery, giving us each unique clues that we narrated ourselves, and kind of made that the decision for timelines and the details, pulling in all of that. That was really cool and a lot of fun. I love it when games encourage players to build a world around them. I thought that was awesome. The rolling system makes sense and it's very straightforward, which is nice. I like that you can choose your consequences, so to speak. You can choose to fail but not get hurt, and all of that. That makes it it adds a layer to it for players to prioritize what's most important to them in the scenario, and I think it just makes it more flexible and fun. The mystery was a lot of fun. I'm going to echo Keegan. I had a lot of fun. I think that there were things about the game that are unique for me because I haven't played a game that had those kinds of things built in. And I found them to be really rewarding. I'm really glad that I rolled as well as I did, because when I rolled poorly, I was like, oh no.
You got beat up a whole lot.
Like, oh shit, it can get real fast.
Awesome. Any questions you have?
I guess like what about the year 1979 was like, this is what I want? Like, why this time period in particular?
I mean, the obvious answer is that's the year Donna Summer came out with Bad Girls, which, you know, half of the hits we still play from Donna Summer are off of Bad Girls, even though she had an established career as both a performer and songwriter before that. That's the joke answer. The real answer is it's an era that is post Stonewall, when queer people were developing a little bit of political power. It was kind of developing sort of a tenuous relationship with politicians that was still sort of emerging, but like politicians were sitting down and talking to them. People were talking about them. Like mainstream pop novelists were sort of noticing gay rights, and it was sort of like being mentioned, even in like you know, Stephen King, the writer of Small Town American Horror, is mentioning like gay rights as just a thing that's happening in the world, not like talking about it. Like Stephen King later sort of like becomes the, you know, the dad of a lesbian daughter who, you know, is but at this point in time, like, just, you know, queer people are getting mentioned as a purely sort of like neutral force in American pop literature, which is great. We have in science fiction, we have the emergence of queer writers like Octavia Butler and Samuel Delany over the past like 10 years, kind of emerging and being out. But also, it's sort of at the time when queer people are discovering a little bit of access to social acceptance and power, but are not quite there. So there's still this sense of like, we really need a space to escape to, but also we have not hit the intense downward anxieties and depression that come from the onset of the AIDS crisis in 82, 83. It first discovered in 81, but really sort of becoming a crisis in 82, 83. We're not in the Reagan administration era where queer people are mocked from the White House press podium for having AIDS. So we're sort of in an in-between time when things look hopeful, like it's a time where queer people can push back and fight back. But it's not a time that's fraught and potentially despondent. Because we're things stacked up against us are beyond what even like cosmic horror is a good metaphor for, where they're very concrete things that are stacked up against us. So that is sort of like why I kind of gravitated to 1979 as a point where there's a little bit of hope. There's a little bit of hope, but we need to sort of like protect and nurture the spaces that we have found for ourselves to kind of go forward. So that's 1979 seemed kind of a pinpoint, and Donna Summer's Bad Girls.
Gotcha. And then my other question would be around like long-term play, because I know some of the mechanics for the purposes of a one-shot we sort of set to the side because they wouldn't really come into play.
Yeah.
But it would. Do you want to highlight one of those mechanics now and kind of like brag about it?
Didn't really do because it takes a little bit of time at the table and it's hard to do separate from the table, and it doesn't really come up a lot in the one-shot. Right. We didn't do strange events, which is a mechanic where each person and one of your housemates has a strange event. Now, you, Heidi, you, Sarah, as playing Heidi, are a completely average, everyday person who just happened to be like caught up in a scandal and like sort of need to kind of retreat to a place you'll be a little more low-key and undercover, and then discover you've got two shifters as housemates.
Right.
One who you only discovered tonight is actually really a shifter.
Well, I don't even know that that's concrete. It might just be a very helpful wolf.
It was a very large dog.
I'm leaning into like the shaggy dog vibes of all of this, where like you never see the shaggy dog and the angsty teen in the room at the same time.
Concrete is both Scooby and Shaggy.
Yeah. So there's but there's a point where everybody sort of realizes there are strange things happening. Not only like are there housemates like witches or shifters or from another dimension or intelligent animals. That is another character creation option if you really want to go in the zany direction. that strange things are happening around town. So it's strange things you've seen, attacks from strange creatures that you've warded off from that protected other people from. And you and one housemate always share those. You sort of pick them, you roll. Sometimes those can lead to you starting the game with a minor injury. Sometimes it leads to you like learning something important or developing a new ally that you can then draw on. So it's a really fun campaign mechanic, but it doesn't really like come up in like one-shot play a lot.
Yeah.
So it usually takes about 30, 45 minutes at the table. And for a one-shot, that sort of takes a lot of time.
You've eaten probably like half of your time to do that. But I anything that kind of like strengthens those connections between players to help facilitate those. Because I mean, even to some extent, Tony, you and I were like, let's establish like the first contact with Crowflit just to give us some context here. But yeah, no, those would be my immediate questions. I had a lot of fun. I'd be very curious to try some of the other backgrounds, like the witch, and just see how different that feels to play from being like a normal person. But this was great.
Thank you.
I had a blast playing also. I think for me, it's interesting now having played three or four of your games on stream, also having like read through all of your games. You like, even the way you start this book, and I was commenting to Keegan and Sarah before we started, like a lot of people are like, here's the general premise, here's the character creation rules, here's like, you know, some expanded core mechanics or whatever. And then setting will come in after that. But really, you as a designer, I feel like design places and universes you want people to play in, and then come back and populate what is happening, what the PCs are doing in that space in a lot of your design work. Enoch's Wake, Barrowkeep, but your general writing style, even Sherwood, like reinforces. For you, it's really about the setting. And the book actually starts out, which is a gorgeous physical item. Keegan, do you want to hold yours up to the screen, since I know you have a copy right there? Yeah, like the physical format, the design, like all those things are absolutely amazing. But you start in the book with the setting and getting people to understand, here is what Roseville Beach is and is like, and here are locations you will go. Which is great. Like, I mean, like it really, like, because it's 24 pages. It's not a lot of text, you know, out of 169. It's a very quick read. Tell me a little bit about kind of, for you, what drives that setting force first mentality, whether it may not be intentional, but if you're aware that that's how you design, I'd love to hear more about that process.
So it's fun. I enjoy hearing that, because like it was something like when I first started, I very much set out to do. I was very, very influenced by systems like Beyond the Wall, and other things that really sort of like, Kids on Bikes, things where you build characters, and in building characters, you inform the setting. I like to Lucian Kahn's Visigoths versus Molgoths, really limited, really tight character creation, but it tells you so much about who you are and where you are in that space when you do it. And I very much like to not only create very small, tight settings, but I like to situate you in them. And I think also, clearly my influence, clearly influenced, I think anybody who knows me sees the clear influence of World of Darkness on that, where I'm gonna pick on D&D because it's the big boy, and I can't hurt it. But like, D&D tried to create factions at some point during the release of 5th edition, and there's just no deep investment in factions or any particular reason to join them. Whereas White Wolf, every game they released, the factions are an innate part of who your character is, even if you wish you were someone else. It is where you are from and who sort of brought you into the supernatural world, even if you have a hostile relationship with that faction, even if you resent it or regret it. Like, it is innate to you. It's like a family you come from or a place you come from. And in doing a small place at a much more street level of power, which I think is sort of my thing, like small places, street level power, street level sort of activity, just embedding characters into that setting and into sort of like the ways the setting functions, have been sort of my favorite things about like, and like not everybody comes to Roseville Beach like, oh, I was really looking forward to giving up my job as like a community theater person and becoming a bartender, but bartender is the job that was posted when you showed up.
Right.
Uh,
Anyways, I thoroughly enjoy it. Like I said, it's just something I noticed about your writing. The other thing I wanted to highlight, because I don't think we got to really chance to see it, part of the role is also the ability to like assign dice to clues. Tell us a little bit more what it's like to roll for a clue. How does that kind of work, and how does it get laid out?
So it's important to me to give clues when people get to the right places, but I always love that sort of like comedy investigation horror thing when like something really goes wrong and like just out of a blue in the absolute weirdest place, you just see a free floating like receipt from the occult bookstore for like how to imprison people inside canisters, you know, and it's just handwritten and it's just there. And it's like, oh, look, there's a receipt. Somebody bought a book about imprisoning people's souls inside canisters. And that the clue table is there. You guys, before we really started rolling, had gotten to the place because, you know, it was a one shot and I pushed a little hard with making sure that your werewolf concrete knew exactly where things were going. And when I run this for campaign play or a little bit more open-ended convention slot, like I push way less hard. I just advance the clock sort of behind the scenes, and the transference of Simon into the other unsuspecting person is way farther along, and you've got to figure out sort of like what to do to get them back switched, Simon into the canister and your friend into their own body. But I knew for a one shot, I wanted to kind of hard frame.
That's great. I also really appreciate you telling us what was actually going on right now, because I was only 60% sure.
Yeah. This little adventure is my own little take on like H.P. Lovecraft's The Whisper in Darkness.
Yeah.
Which I jokingly told someone this weekend. It's one of the few Lovecraft stories where like one character cares what happens to another character. Those are really rare. Those special moments where two Lovecraft characters are concerned about what's happening to each other.
I also do love, because I do feel like the pulp genre as a source of inspiration lets you decide how heavy-handed or how clever you want to be. Like as long as you say the things in the book, and sometimes it is literally like you find a receipt, and that receipt lets you know that somebody bought this, like is a thing that you will find in a probably poorly written like pulp, you know, like anthology where they just were like, I can't figure out how to tell the audience what's going on, and I know that I have not done a good enough job with it. Like, if you need to do that as a GM, you having that freedom versus if you have the space and the time to let it draw out, you can also do that, because the pulp genre does both very well.
And definitely pulls from those first two sort of seasons of Scooby-Doo, like spaced out, not right consecutive seasons, but like the 1969 season they ran forever, and then like the early 70s season that followed up with that. Definitely like, oh my god, like here's a random clue, it just was at the bottom of this snowbank. So it's kind of that moment, and also just if people are missing things, it's a great time for the GM to bring something in that will kind of put you back on the right track.
Cool. Keegan, do you want to say the two recommendations that you mentioned in chat out loud for people who are watching later on who are not with us right now?
Oh yeah, I was just saying, I've been listening to a podcast, SF Ultra, which in which the podcaster's been reading 100 sci-fi books, but he's been doing a bunch of specifically queer sci-fi from the late 60s, early 70s, including like James Purdy, Octavia Butler, Samuel Delaney, stuff like that's all come up a lot. And yeah, you know, like if this isn't a genre you're very well versed in, it's a good listen. It'll give you a good foundation here.
Awesome. That said, we've got people can go check out the book right now at ttrpg.link/rosevillegame. That'll take you over to the itch page. Physical copies available at Spearwitch +1 IPR. If you're at Gen Con, come say hi to Richard or pick up the game there and save on shipping. If you're just silently judging people who go to Gen Con or doing it out loud,
Or
that's
loud.
also okay. Yeah, or out loud.
You can judge us out loud.
Yeah, that's fine. then do that. But either way, go check out the game and sign up for Dim All the Lights also too. We'll be back to stream that right around the time of the campaign also too.
Yeah.
I hope continuing the same characters, because then we can find out a little bit more about what happened, but maybe not. We'll see. With all that said, SF Ultra is a podcast, Cartwheel asked, so go check that out. We haven't figured out a way to end streams at this point. We're not interested in trying to do so. We're just going to wave at the camera until I take us offline. Bye, everybody.
Bye.